check, mic check.
Blessed love, this is Ras Tafari representing for the Lion's Voice, seeing? Yeah, man, keep it locked right here, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right here, sir, seeing? Ras Tafari said that. Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I too. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Amen, Empress Manel, and I young science. You're universally unfold, be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Ras Indio out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Ras Indio said that, blazing fire, lion boy.
Lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Yeah, Rastafari, Empire of Ethiopia the first. Tell the people about Empress Manel. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming while we stand tall, I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood, but when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me now budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, that light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming while we stand tall, I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, when they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, shining unto I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shining unto I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, hurt people. Maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I the First. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Banso, aka the Chasmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney. I'm an author. I'm an artist. I'm an actionist. And right now, I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where lions are telling our own story. Tonight, we are having a history episode. I know some of the items love when we go into the history. Our guest tonight is a historian, and we're going to be going deep into some history of the 1920s, the 19-teens, 1916. We just passed an anniversary, February 11th. Haile Selassie was crowned as Ras Tafari, he was given the title of Ras, and that took place after him being appointed, and we know that appointment took place September 27th. But it wasn't until February 11th that the actual ceremony was held. So tonight, we have a historian. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we might have to do some sound check on the air. But Lion Pride, we've come so far together. We're patient. I know we overstand. It's Gideon Battlefield. Regent is in his vehicle. You know what I mean? He have a house full of children, but he wanted to share this information. He's trying to get to a quiet place. It's just, you know what I mean? That's the commitment. So we're going to work through the difficulties tonight, and we're going to go into the history. But before we get there, we have some special guests yarding through, you know what I mean? Friday, we have a major event. We're going to share some information. We want the global family to buy tickets to support. We have fundraising. We had Empress Idama on. She's going to yard through again today. And tomorrow evening, we're going to seat up with her on the eve of this major event, major fundraising. Artists coming together, community coming together for the Shashamane School. So we're going to come together tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, same time. Empress Idama, Brother Carl, our next artist who, you know what I mean, we're going to be so delighted to meet Grammy artists, big artists. So this is going to be something amazing. So Lion Pride, mark your calendars. If you're watching live, if you watch on the replay, hundreds who will watch on the replay. Let us support this event. Let us, those of us who are not going to be in the New York area, go to the Eventbrite and pay some money so that this worthy annual event can be supported. This is why I made the channel, family, because we wanted to be able to provide strength to our community. They let them know, we are frontline battlefield angels, and you know what I mean, the community workers. I want to see all of them win. I want to see all of them bank account bursting. You know what I mean? That's how we're gonna harness the power. So we're at a critical juncture. Even as I speak, military hardware being shipped to the Middle East. A Gideon war. You know what I mean?
We told you here early, if you go and look in the channel, look at the past videos, you will see how many videos we've done about the attack of Iran and the Straits of Hormuz and all of these things. We've been talking about that over here. So if you're new to the channel, know that I and I are far eye, meaning, you know, we don't see what going and what going to happen. So when these things are happening, one's on the eve, I see all of the media talk and I speculate. We were on this months. Why? Because we know, you know what I mean, Armageddon war, they want to see it happen. The baby boomers, they're going to leave us with a boom. I tell the eye, you know what I mean, they want to see this Armageddon war happen before they, you know, take their time of rest and become ancestors. So these people are going to bring the world into Armageddon. So preparation, we have whole heap of episodes on preparation. So if you're new to the platform, go forward. You can see our episodes on how to prepare for Armageddon. We're talking about food sovereignty. We have an episode with Baba Rashid. If you haven't seen Rashid Nouri ran the Nation of Islam farm, talking about black food sovereignty. If you can't feed yourself during this Armageddon time, family, you're going to feel it. If you live in the city, you better get some relationship with some farmers right now and know your food source, because if it's Whole Foods or Trader Joe, wow, I don't know if you tell the item right now, Armageddon, you know what I mean? So we're going to continue to burn that fire. We will go live when the invasion starts, so look out for that. When the bombs start dropping, we will go live here on the platform, just to reason and hold our energy as Rastafari with that far eye. So feel free to join us when that happens. Again, repatriation, all comforts are being taken out to the west. Winter was Gideon up here. Jamaica get cold too. Cold front, you know what I mean, then earthquake, you know what I mean, after the Hurricane Melissa. And we're also going to have a representative from the RMO pass through this evening to talk about the Webathon. The RMO PMO PR officer, I've been promising an RMO episode. It's not going to have the whole episode, but we're going to have a representative pass through this evening. So this evening, we're holding an energy, family. We are here. I want to big up, before I bring forward Empress Idama, she's here with us. I just want to big up the greatest online community on the planet. I'm biased, you know, and I'm okay. I'm okay with being biased, okay? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Global Lion Pride. All of my subscribers, if you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. And, you know what I mean, 61,500 plus, and we continue to grow. It's humbling to I, because I had a vision and I just move on the vision. We weren't ready on paper to even deal with the vision, but we've been disciplined, we've been consistent, and we have seen the fruits of our energies. And without the item, this would be a waste of time. But because the item are tuning in, I reached a stage I can't read all of the comments them anymore across all of the platforms. The phone does a ping. I can't keep up, so we just, you know, community does govern itself right now. Eventually we'll get moderators and those things to make sure that we keep the energy to a certain balance. But we have the TikTok now, we have the IG now, we have Facebook now, all of these platforms going on simultaneously. So we're growing as a global family and platform for Rastafari. Our other guest, Just Yadin. So we're going to get some niceness tonight. We're growing. And again, without the item, we could not do what we are doing. So I want to just big up all of the Global Lion Pride family. We lost some people on our monthly subscribers. We gained some, but we lost some. I want to big up our Lion Pride. Hold on, I don't want you to see me guess yet, you know, because it's a prize thing and production, you know what I mean? So we will soon bring forward the Royal Empress. But I want to take the time to big up the Lion Pride. Ras Bruno, our newest member to the Lion Pride. He came on after the Webathon. Big up yourself, Ras Bruno. Big up yourself, Full Spectrum Faith, some of our newest. But we lost some long time members of the Lion Pride, and ones are linking me. Here in America, a lot of ones are being laid off of their work, so they don't have that steady income. So I want to eye them know that in this Armageddon, it is getting rougher to survive, and it's not going to get easier. This is why repatriation, we're telling the global family, now is the time to really harness whatever assets you have and invest in land, space where you can farm, you can grow food. If you're a biblical person, Matthew 24 tell you what, flee the city. Time of global instability and war, you don't want to be in the urban centers. You want to be around the farmers, you want to be around food, you want to be around sustenance. This is going to be a long war. It's not going to be a short war. Global shipping, everything is going to be, they're going to be blowing up ships on the high seas, that type of foolishness where His Majesty warned them about. This is going to be taking place because they never hear His Majesty. So, everywhere. And we have to be wise, all right, because we are now tasked with rebuilding the alternative that will spring from the ashes of their new world order that they're trying to create. I and I are going to be the tree that is planted by the rivers of water that bringing forth its fruit in due season. So we have to prepare, and part of that preparation is making sure we have our own media. So big up everyone supporting Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media. No one is coming to save us. No one is going to give us our narrative, our story. So all of the monthly subscribers, everyone who is making that, we have a platform that we can tell the global family about a fundraiser for Ethiopia that's happening Friday. We have to just give thanks, So I'm not going to hold much longer. I'm going to bring forward our first Yard True. We have some powerful sister in Yarding True tonight in our family. If you don't believe that the Lion Voice Network is the place where Rastafari family are gathering positivity, let me just prove something to you. Please welcome the great Empress Idama. Royal blessings to my good sister Isis.
Yeah, Lion, I Divine Majesties, Kudumawi, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menen. Yeah, what a great joy it is to be here. Xavier Yesteling, which is, and I give thanks and praise unto Jah for the eye, for the works consistently bringing forward pertinent information, edification, heretical enlightenment, and just positivity to the global Rastafari family.
Before we say anything else, I want to just show something very quickly.
Imperial Music Entertainment, Blazer Music Group, and Culture Palace presents a fundraiser show and dance benefiting the JRDC School in Shashamane, Ethiopia on Friday. Imperial Music Entertainment, Blazer Music Group, and Culture Palace presents a fundraiser show and dance benefiting the JRDC School in Shashamane, Ethiopia on Friday, February 20th, 2026 at the prestigious Culture Palace, 3605 Church Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. Admission is $30. Gates open at 10 p.m. Featuring performances by Sammy Dread, Iras, Keisha Martin, Empress Idama, Firestone, John E. Cash, Rob Simeon, Kefense First, David Culture, Barry B. Cherry Rock, and more. Party with a purpose. Come out this Friday. MC is Al Jam with Nuff Up Radio. Music by Blazer Movement Sound. Sound Splash Sound with Messiah. And if you're not able to make it, you can still purchase an advance ticket at 718-669-9992. That's 718-669-9992. Or make a tax-exempt donation at shashamane.org. See you there.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I bless up Inat Panay of Rastafari TV. Yes, very powerful mother, sister, and empress devoted to the words. Give thanks. Livication.
yes, we love the voice of the barefoot warriors, you know. Remember, yeah.
Not just her voice, but her works,
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
Editing,
manifestation
everything,
of her work,
everything, everything.
power
I
of her
yes,
presence. She's been very supportive in the benefit for the JRDC school. She helped to in the preparation even of the sponsorship package that was prepared. So yes, much love, and I are immensely excited and overjoyed, honored to invite everyone to be a part of educational excellence, upliftment, self-reliance, and sustainability in Ethiopia. Yes, so this show and dance takes place this Friday, at the Royal Prestigious Culture Palace. Well, she said it all. Gates open at 10 p.m., advance tickets on Eventbrite. We have various different locations. Telephone number is there, 718-669-9992. And yes, Queen of Jam Rock and Soul, Keisha Martin, Sammy Dread, Firestone, Kefensi First, Johnny Cash, Rob Simeon, Rob Scott, yours truly, Empress Idama, Cherry Rock, Barry B, and special guest artists. We will also be blessed to have the international president of the Ethiopian World Federation, who is also the special representative for the Crown Council and the African Diaspora, Sister Cheryl Mary Esquire, who will make a special presentation on behalf of the Crown Council Trust.
okay. These are no strangers to the Lion Voice family. These are
Uh,
all people who have been on this platform. So this is what I'm saying, family. It's one family. I'm just here smiling to see the works and the collective security coming together. And um, tomorrow we're gonna have a full episode with Empress Idama is coming forward in the eve of this historic event. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're gonna have one of the artists performing. We're gonna have some Ethiopia tuning in, and it's gonna be a nice, with us all our energy. And
Yes, I
again,
think two of the founders will be on
okay,
through the powers
okay.
of the Most High from Ethiopia, one who is
Don't
currently
spoil it. Don't spoil it. They might have to come.
me
They
not
might
have
have
a
to,
spoil.
okay,
Me not
all
have
right.
a spoil.
Because
Just
this is
till then, everyone show some love for the students at the JRDC school. Buy up the ticket them. If you can come, is all right. Just come and support the thing and we make a major impact for generations to come.
yes, and this is a different Rastafari. This is not no local. We're done with local Rastafari. You know what I mean? So if you're in the UK, you're in Africa, you're in South America, you see this. Go to the Eventbrite. We have a community post. We have the link in the Eventbrite. You can go, click on the Eventbrite, buy a ticket like you go. You don't have to be there physically, but theoretically, I can feel the kitty. Again,
Anniversary,
yes,
electively.
electively, so it's going to be a mighty strength. I want to give thanks for the eye again. Tune in tomorrow. Empress Idama will be, and you see we've been rinsing your lift up that you gave to the platform. You see that we rinse it, the Empress
Okay,
Renee.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't call it a drop anymore. A man burn a fire upon him says not a drop. I mean not the drop.
Oh,
A
it's
lift
a
up.
live.
A lift up.
Oh,
You see me?
true, true.
So
That's
so
right.
so you
I,
see,
I.
yeah, you see Empress Idama in the lift up, and one of my favorite. I've been playing it consistently, and I love it.
Much
Um,
appreciated.
I love
You
it.
know, again, we're always so critical of our works, but give thanks. I'm glad that you were pleased with the works, just as I and the Almighty is pleased with their works as well.
Mutual Admiration Society right here in front of the item. So give us any final sound before we seal up. And again, remember, she'll be here tomorrow. Big show, special edition for Shashamane JRDC School. It's something I and I have been supporting for over a decade here in DC. Big up Brother Roy, Brother Carl, Mama Valerie, Ras Woldy, the whole family that have been holding up his sister Joan, you know what I mean, Mikey, Dan, all of the ones them who, you know what I mean, it's just a joy if you really know that ones have been holding this torch. And now that we're building our platforms, that we can bring the global family and bring that collective strength. While they're destroying each other, I and I will be building the alternative, you know, the building of Zion. So give us any final sound, Empress Idama, before we seal with the eye.
It's a blessing. I invite Majesty don't lay the foundation, and I just continuing in the works. One of his words sound is all for one, one for all. Working in this manner, there can be no failure. Not true?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Divine and perfect, you know what I mean?
And more love to the Universal family. Yes, more love and blessings and in the new day, in the rising.
Yes, so tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Empress Idama, perfect love, Empress Idama. We'll see the eye tomorrow.
Haile Selassie, Ixia, blessings. I tell you out.
So, yes, I. So the IDMC, Empress Idama here, we're going to bring forward our other guests, but I want to play a video first before I bring on the guests. And the voice you hear in the video is the voice of the guests. So it's a vibes, you know what I mean? It's a good vibes. Let's play the video.
For generations, Rastafari in Jamaica and across the world has carried a cultural and spiritual footprint and voice for justice globally. Yet this same community has continued to be marginalized, exploited, put on hold, and unrespected. This has manifested through discrimination in the ganja industry.
And we were able to successfully get the charges dropped against the young man because Rastafari should not be in 2025 prosecuted for ganja at all.
Barring of children from school because of dreadlocks. Harassment for its stance against vaccination. Exclusionary employment practices. And use of intellectual property without compensation. Out of this continued adversity, a significant force towards unification, organization, and centralization has been gathering momentum across Jamaica. 14 Rastafari mansions and organizations, now referred to as the Rastafari Umbrella Group RMO, have joined together under a historic constitution with a clear and unified mission to harness the collective assets and resources of the Rastafari community, to fulfill the Rastafari creed, to advocate for the interests of Rastafari with one voice, to advance cooperative economic empowerment, and to facilitate partnerships with Africa towards reconnection and repatriation. Near the end of 2025, the importance of unity was tested in a way that no one anticipated. Most times, history does not ask if one is ready, it simply arrives. The unity established by the RMO amongst 14 Rastafari organizations has been tested by one of the most intense disasters of a historic scale. On October 28, 2025, Jamaica was struck by one of the strongest hurricanes in its recorded history. The western end of the island suffered the catastrophic hit from Hurricane Melissa's impact. Jamaicans from every walk of life were affected. And in response, something powerful happened. Across the island and throughout the diaspora, relief for Jamaica poured in. Musicians, influencers, NGOs, churches, community groups, and everyday citizens mobilized. Jamaicans and Jamaica lovers acted with speed, generosity, and heart. For many communities, help has arrived and is continuing, but for others, it has not. Disasters do not impact everyone equally, and relief does not always reach those furthest from visibility or power. As the island continues to struggle to stabilize, an uncomfortable truth remains untold. Within this national tragedy, one community has been largely unseen.
So you see that powerful work. That's the work of I next guest. Yadding through, we're going to keep it moving. Please welcome Queen Mother Corrida. Royal greetings. Royal greetings. Can you hear I? Blessings, can you hear I? Are you hearing I and I? We're working on it. We're working on it. Can you hear I? Isis? Isis? Let me know in the chat if you can hear I'm on voice. Let me know in the chat. Sister Corrida? Okay, we're gonna see if she can go out and come forward. This is one of those challenging nights, but we give thanks, you know what I mean? We give thanks. Greetings.
Greetings.
Yes, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Royal blessings. How is everything with the eye?
Everything is Isla. Give thanks. Give thanks. Empress Idama was watching with interest. The JRDC school, you know.
Yes.
Visited many a time, and you know, Brother Carl Philpotts burning the trail, and Sister Joan, and all these great ones who keep the fire burning, you know. So much respect.
Much respect. And I want to just publicly congratulate the IDI's son. Your one son is now a Grammy-winning reggae artist for 2026. We had powerful reasoning on this platform, but you know, we've talked behind the scenes, but publicly, let me just give you your flowers, you know, as a queen mother, raised in a family, cultural family where continue to shine. You know, me just want to give you that public congratulations.
Yes, all glory to Father, you know, Jehovah. Give thanks.
Isis. All right, so tonight I've been talking about the Webathon, the Triple R plan, the RMO, IDOR coming on the table. There's been so many updates, but we haven't had an official check-in with RMO. I've been promising our audience a check-in. We were promoting the Webathon here on the platform. So I said, let us just have a quick check-in. Sister Corrida acts as the PR officer for the RMO in Jamaica, part of the executive of the RMO, one of the ones that were instrumental in mobilizing the media assets, the Rastafari media assets that have come together. So Rastafari TV, we'll let Sister Corrida explain more. But the Triple R plan, one of the authors of the original author of the Triple R plan, you know, in terms of bringing her skill set, working with the United Nations on the continent to strengthen the Rastafari community. I just give people kind of a up to date, because a lot of work is happening behind the scenes prior to the Webathon, and now during the Webathon, post Webathon, and a lot of it is things that can make us feel proud as Rastafari people, and we have to amplify. Yes, we know there are challenges, and we'll get into some of that down the line, but right now we want to amplify the things that make us feel great, because we're doing things that have never been done in the history of the movement. Can you please just give us an update? Where are we? Explain the Webathon and where we are now since the Webathon.
Well, give thanks again, family. And the the experience of being in a natural disaster of that scale and that intensity, it really it brings a force and an energy that is hard to explain. Is something that it brings the identity that was so hard to put the finger on, within the community because of this and that and different iration and different unfortunate experience. But then when a disaster really hit like that, one's kind of put down differences. And, His Majesty has been calling for this, and there's been many efforts before. But I think this one is really, there's no other alternative really. And to live amongst the Rastafari family, ones have seen that now they have to turn within, to seek that collective security. So the joy is really that many of the things that have been on stream, maybe in small corners, is really like a force um, forwarding together now within the mansions that, fortunately, the RMO is quietly doing its work. Governance is not a very exciting work, to be honest. It's a lot of governance structures, meetings to talk about protocols. The work is not very, exciting, let me say. It's just a whole heap of governance things, legal issues, getting the things sound and right. And so almost it was like a preparation, I feel like, for this moment where now additional attention or additional resources that are possible, that now we can kind of leapfrog ahead, leap lion ahead, and put things in place. And that is what we're seeing now amongst the mansions, amongst the 14 organizations that have signed the Constitution, and others who have shown interest and are now tuning in more forcefully within this time. So the Webathon was, I would say, a marking time where there was a quick move towards embracing the global Rastafari family. There had been RMO Lives, for those who might have tuned in, where it was an effort now to move outside of Jamaica and tune in with others who have been doing great works on the platforms, the Caribbean Rastafari Organization, the Continental Rastafari Organization, EWF, IDOR, DARK. I mean, the list goes on. But basically, an opportunity now to look at this as not just a few one-off meetings, but a functioning together. So I think the Webathon for I mark a time where it's not just an event; it's a way that Rastafari is self-governing in a global sense. And I don't know if the rest of the world has woken up, but it was a different kind of functioning.
Give thanks, give thanks. And one of the things, again, I love is that the approach to the disaster relief on the ground, I think the mapping, the emphasis on getting data, funding, pairing the relief efforts. And we're going to show some other videos during this broadcast. We have a couple other videos that we want to share about the project. But, typically as Rastafari, we do the things them, but we're not capturing the data so that we don't know there's 10 people over here that don't have a roof. We don't have a spreadsheet that says these people don't have good water, so we can make sure we're checking on them, making sure, we kind of give out the relief at a space. And if you come, you show up, you get. If you're not there, then you hear about it. And you know what I mean? So taking this, explain what's happening on the ground with the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society being supported through the RMO, through IDOR coming on board now. That's going to, boost that effort. Explain some of the nuts and bolts, because I think these are the things that make us proud as Rastafari to know it's not the same thing that's just happening. The Webathon is a launch, but the launch is not that we're going to do something, is that something is happening and we're feeding the support into it. Explain the mapping and what is happening with Coral Garden, Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society.
Seen. So just making it clear, as Brother Kwazi has explained, the Webathon is an activation for mobilizing resources, but the RRR, the Triple R, or the Relief, Rebuild, and Rise initiative is a long-term initiative, and it's basically using the disaster of the storm to accelerate the action that is already underway and move faster to the vision of Rastafari Liberty, working together, functioning together, both at the, within Jamaica, but across all networks across the globe, and moving towards repatriation, but ensuring that the family in Jamaica can really pool its resources, its collective assets. So the Webathon, I have to say that giving thanks for all those who supported it or continuing to support through the GoFundMe, which can be found on the RMO Jamaica IG page in the profile. That funding, the first round of funding, has been used for the mapping. So just to make clear that these are tangible benefits of this forwarding together, bringing resources together. So the mapping within RMO has always been identified as trying to identify what assets we have. After the storm, it was found that we have to do this mapping now, not just within centers and what these centers have as benefits and strengths, but also now in the storm, it's like, what are the needs? Where are people? Where's the community? What ages are they? What are the health needs? What are the roofing needs? What are the building needs? There's just a lot of important information that needs to be had to know how to respond. So some of the critical information that has been identified is that we have many elders. So, just picture a Rastafari family who has been trying to live in remote areas because, Babylon system have it that, you have to try live far from, and these are elders who have seen the Armageddon worse than now even. So they have tended to have homes that are far out in the most remote areas. And then in addition to that, ones who may have not lived with their families, because when you cite up Rastafari, as Diadem will know, is usually a separation. So the data is showing us that we have like 48% of ones affected by the storm in these remote areas living alone, and they're above the age of 65 to 80. And so these are vulnerable elders. And I think many of them may want to stay in their locations. But in terms of a response, it's very difficult to take support to, in those remote areas. So now that data is pointing to the need for some temporary shelters where these kind of health needs, some of them have, I think it was maybe 32% have chronic illness, that have to be attended to. Some have open wounds, some are disabled. I think it was 2 of them that have some kind of mental health challenges. So these are the types of data that can help to not only provide a long-term response, but even immediate essential supplies that help to identify what the care package for these ones should look like, instead of just giving every household the same package. So these are real important planning tools and process that is underway that, as Brother Kwazi said, it's a good feeling, that is being done professionally. There's been training, even some of the equipment that was donated in terms of the Starlink has been allowing that break-in communication due to the storm that caused the community to be without any ability to plan or to know what is going on. Now this technology has been made available, and training sessions are able to be had so that everyone is approaching the data, in the same way so that it can be used accurately. So
yeah, definitely. And let me take the liberty to allow you to have a proud mother moment, because your son has also got himself involved, not by you telling him to do something, It's him call the eye and tell you, what am I going to do? Can you please just even share what Keznande has done? And this is prior to Grammy. Grammy don't even, reached on yet. This is the caliber of family that we're talking of. Please, let's have a proud mother moment here on the Lion Voice Network.
Well, again, may I give all glory to Jah, you know, because even that Grammy, that was unexpected, to be honest. But Kesnamdi, you know, he has a community that he calls Kes Nation, you know, those who just love Kesnamdi music. And he's an independent artist, so he don't have no label. So he depends a lot on his team and his wider network and family to move information, to move interest, to and support. And one of the supports, he had run a raffle because he had started a new line of merchandise for his new album, Blood and Fire. And so that was ongoing before the storm hit. So he was getting a flood of response to this raffle. So when the storm hit, he decided that, you know, in his little way, the only way, you know, he felt like he could, is not like him have a heap of money, even Grammy not carrying no money as such, you know. But it was a way that, you know, he felt that he could give. And so he really was just asking what could be the most impactful way of that small, you know, relatively small amount supporting the community. And I had to tell him that we don't even know what the needs are. So it was all about communication being as a first line of need. And so that's where he ensured that the solar generator, which is, it was important, not just the Wi-Fi Starlink, but the solar power. And he had tried to purchase two. And as Jah would have it, one of the raffle supporters supported a multiple, you know, like a recurring contribution, and that is what is paying the, you know, the bill of the satellite on a monthly basis. And this person is in Hawaii, probably not listening, but we still give thanks said way, you know, because these are things that aren't, you know, it's not easy to come true.
Big up. I love it. You know what I mean? So again, on the Lion Voice Network, we celebrate our victories, no matter how small. We wanna lift the spirits of the global families. Dark times we're heading into, and we need all of our soldiers, you know, at full attention. And you know, we give thanks for the example that our creatives are playing on the battlefield right now. We're gonna have a full RMO panel to talk about the Triple R plan, the Webathon, and everything, but I just wanted Empress Corita to come on and give us an update, because I've been promising for Strongs now, and I try to deliver to my audience, you know what I mean? So we have the accountability, the transparency. We're also, I know the RMO is going to be having a meeting with all of the partners shortly to, you know, give a full report on the Webathon. So we're looking forward, and after that report will come and we'll have a more full panel to the general public in terms of the details, how much was raised, all of those things. You know, so there's so much, again, that we as a community are now demonstrating to ourselves. We can do things, you know what I mean? We can take care of ourselves. We're not waiting on the government or complaining about what they're doing, what they're not doing. We're caring for self. The vision, Lion Pride, is that 61,500 plus of the item would give $10 to the cause, you know what I mean? And that would be over $500,000 that we on this one platform could do if we work together in one heartbeat. So that's my vision. I may have to get to 1 million subscribers to get 50,000 to do that. And I'm comfortable with that, you know, because we're not stop. But I'm gonna keep blocking that sound until we have it. One day you're gonna see Iman come on this platform and say, we did it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a glory. Cause that's my vision, Mama Corita, is that every guest come on, whatever cause they're supporting, whatever, you know, that my audience will just spend $10, bam, you know, they wake up, their account is full, and we just feed the global ecosystem. We feed the workers, you know what I mean? Fund them, you know what I mean? That is the vision with this platform. So even if you're watching now, go to the RMO Jamaica GoFundMe, give an attribution. I think we're over 5,500 last time I checked. So we give thanks for everyone who has given. Go to the GoFundMe and give us strength. It's really, as we say, ongoing. The overall goal is 500,000 US for phase 1, and again, we're going to be sharing the developments as they happen. Any final sound, Sister Corrida?
Well, you asked about Coral Gardens, and I think that just quickly, there are 5 priority centers. So, in this giving, it's about the mapping, which is a very critical foundation, which is the data to inform how the community can respond. But the RISE part of the plan is really the interesting part, in terms
Yes.
of moving forward, advancing with the vision of Rastafari, where we, have the liberty a little more visible in terms of the progress and the collective surety and development, so it's not just relief. So we have, like at Coral Gardens, which was, for those who don't know it's been a history of atrocities in 1963, where, many of the Rastafari community were murdered. There was a lot of beating, incarceration without trial or even sentence. So this history was like the climax within Jamaica of discrimination and abuse of the Rastafari community. There was a formal apology given in Parliament, and then as a result of that, there was a grant given in a trust fund to support the survivors of this atrocity. And so Coral Gardens Benevolent Society was born as a entity to defend the rights and the reparations for these families, but also for the wider Rastafari community who has been under threat, for decades. And so there's a piece of land that are 2 plots of land that have been designated for the Rastafari community, and there are 2 buildings on it. They're derelict. They don't have roofs on it, but now, as a result of the Webathon and the awareness raising, we do have a partnership. We'll hear more about it in the future programs on this. But the exciting thing is to actually see, that, measurements are take, and, there's the land is like a prime piece of land in St. James, where it was one of the worst hit parishes. So the work is underway, the roof will go on hopefully within the next few weeks, months. And then, the next step is to try and think of the greenhouse, which has to be in there for food security. And then, there's many aspects of it in terms of running a temporary shelter. But the idea is to transition it to being a museum for the purpose of ensuring the history is kept of this place, but also, income generation. And there's many plans for how this will become also a tourist spot, but also for gathering of Rastafari for education purposes, for running clinics, and having youth interact with the elders. So that vision of a community-based ongoing programming is what is the vision for Coral Gardens. And we're seeing it, in front of our eyes, and the youth are involved. That is, I think, the exciting thing. We do have a, youth council within the Nyabingi house that have already demonstrated interest, not just within the tabernacles, where they are now building in preparation for the 60th anniversary of the visit of His Majesty to Jamaica, and that's taken off at the time. But there's an interest in the entire effort and initiative where, for the first time in many years, they're seeing this unification movement where things are getting to be more concrete, more live, and, more out of the talk and into the action. So, yes, Brother Kwazi, that is on the battlefield, said way. So,
Yeah, man. You know that we now left. I'm a battlefield angel. I just have to accept who I am. You know what I mean? But before you go, I want to just play a video quickly, and I want to
look at some of the data that has been extracted from the data collected using the data collection instrument provided by the RMO. My name is Ras Gregory. I am chairman of the Rastafari Coral Gardens Benevolent Society. Now, we have interviewed are assessed 103 households. So all of this data is based on the 103 households that we have interviewed. Now, in terms of household heads, in terms of age, there are 45 households led by individuals who are 65 to 79 years of age, whereas 35 households are led by individuals 50 to 64. 15 households are headed by individuals 30 to 49, and only 3 households are headed by individuals 81 and over. 80 and over, rather. Now, when you look at the household makeup of the respondents, of the household respondent, 59 of these households are comprised of only one person, whereas 8 households are comprised of 2 persons, 15 households of 3, so on and so forth, which shows that majority of our households, or the majority of the households interviewed, are comprised of one person who is in the age group of 65 to 79. And we see that 8 households are made up of 4 persons, 4 households are made up of 5, 4 households are made up of 6, 2 households are made up of 7 persons, and 3 households are made up of 8. Now, these urgent needs reflect the urgent needs of our 103 households that were interviewed. One household can and may fall into a number of these categories. And when we look at it, we see that roofing material, 71 households need roofing material urgently. 58 need tarpaulins, 51 need farming support in terms of seeds and tools. 46 households need urgent food needs, 43 have the need for tools for repairs. 40 for bedding needs, 38 for power, charging, or energy needs. We have 29 households in need of clothing needs, 28 need hygiene products, 26 have water needs, either no water or impure water, unclean water. 17 have the need for debris removal, and 13 are experiencing insect or rodent infestation. 11 are currently using temporary shelter. 11 have needs arising from flooding. 10 have insufficient housing. 7 need proper garbage disposal or resources to remove garbage from around the area. 6 have the need for infant supplies, and no families have the need for trauma support. In terms of long-term needs now, again, we have 103 households that were interviewed, and some of these households may fall into one or more categories. Now, there are 75 households in need of construction material, 47 in need of appliance replacement, 44 for furniture replacement, and we have 34 needing business restart support, agriculture recovery, livestock recovery, and this same 34 need skilled labor either to repair their houses and or their businesses. Now, 30 households have the need for income support, 12 need transportation assistance, 6 need school supplies, and these school supplies range from uniform, bags, books, pens, pencil, just back to school supplies. And 0 households need counseling or trauma support. Then we look at the health of our respondents and the households. We see that 23 households or 23 respondents are suffering from chronic illnesses. These chronic illnesses are not limited to, but include things like diabetes, glaucoma, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, goiter, and these things. We have 8 respondents or 8 households having persons with respiratory illnesses, 6 with open wounds. Now, these wounds were not necessarily a result of Hurricane Melissa, but could have been before and were now compounded by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. 2 respondents are suffering from skin infections, 2 from mental health. Now, these 2 mental health issues are not a result of Melissa, but would have been compounded by issues caused by Melissa. And we have 1 household suffering from diarrhea. Now, again, we have interviewed 103 households, so there are 103 respondents.
So I wanted to play that because I want people to understand the level of detail and attention. This is not the regular thing where we just do a thing. This is the community coming together in an unprecedented fashion to start saying we are responsible for ourselves. We are going to take a data-driven approach, just as His Majesty would do in the development of Ethiopia. Speak to what we just heard there, Empress Karida.
Yeah, just to reinforce what the I say, it's just taking a very serious situation seriously, and I think for I is really seeing the videos that go with these. Some of them have
Yes,
been edited into the videos that show the impact of the storm. But
yes,
what I think after seeing those videos, like it's hard for I to really go to sleep, especially on a rainy night, and not think of them elders out there because I just don't overs how them really are survive out there, to be honest. Because them under some little piece of tarpaulin hitch up on a thing, the cold front we've been feeling. Well, I shouldn't even talk about cold because everybody suffer over in foreign, but
yes.
it cold still out there in Jamaica,
Mhm.
up in the hills and
Yeah,
thing.
man.
So yeah,
Unprecedented.
it's just a feeling of vulnerability and that we don't have all that time, to really address this need. And there's no one else looking out, as the first video showed, that the mainstream support is not for I and I. There's none of these elders would find themselves in no shelter run by an authority. So not even, any shelter, is I think there's going to have to be some kind of trust building to, because this hasn't been done before, where there are places that are run by Rastafari that are there for, many who are in distress. It's
Yes,
something new. So I think it's going to have to be where ones can come and, would be hopefully pleasantly surprised, that there's
yes,
a community there ready to support this critical need. But yeah, if you just look on it like your auntie and your uncle out there,
yeah,
it
man.
it feel away. Me not tell a lie.
So family, go to RMO Jamaica on GoFundMe. Give whatever attribution you can give. This is ongoing. We're gonna have Empress Corrida come forward with some of the RMO ones that participated in the webathon and maybe some of the media platforms and continue to update you. So this is a regular Lion Voice network. We were part of the media collaboration, so we're part of the INITY, so we are doing the work as well. So when you support this platform as well, you're supporting the whole uprising of our community. Big up Bongo Wisely. He's saying, did the Regent say 0% of households are in need of counseling? Hope that I am wrong on that one. He did say that, and that I think that is once I said, boy, His Majesty, I'm a counselor. He's a wonderful counselor.
That kind of way. Yeah, there are a lot who are suffering trauma.
Yeah,
Trust me.
man, yeah, man. So
And also recall that this is a small sample,
yes,
relatively. It's
yes,
100 ones. It's a
exactly.
little slice of reality.
Yes,
Um, but yes, it's a important, I think, observation that we know there are ones who are traumatized, especially if you think of elders now at this point in time of their life, to think of start again.
yes,
It's a traumatic reality.
yeah,
And as I say, the faith is there in the Almighty, but you can see it's a mental beating. It's a mental beat out on this one.
yes. But you can't force a man to put that on the farm, The man have to tell you what he's feeling. We can't just put because you feel that way. So it's going to be a process. It's an ongoing process. We're just starting. The RMO, I know, has established a permanent mapping committee. So all of the RMO members, organizations will be doing similar mapping. This was something that was planned before the storm, but as Queen Mother Corrida said, this has accelerated the need for us to really get the house in order. The Lion Voice Network is just a part of this uprising, but I want I to feel proud. I want I to feel good to know that Rastafari is coming together in these perilous times. I and I not gonna just sit back and make Babylon fall with we. You know what I mean? We're gonna rise from the ashes and build, the vision where His Majesty come and establish. The highest of Himself shall establish I and I. You know what I mean? So, any final sound before we seal?
Maybe just to big up the brother Kwazi, because you big up everyone every time. But as I said, behind the scenes, there's a lot of governance issues, legal documents. Each of these centers, we're trying to ensure, as we are asking the international community to support, we know that we have to step up the game on accountability. So what we're trying to do is have center agreement for each of the centers. So it's customized. We have a kind of template of aspects that we know would be important, but each center really sits down with the membership and reasons on what feels natural and in keeping with the vision of the center. Some that might be more involved in the elder care, others are more involved in business, regaining business, putting businesses back on their feet. Others are more involved in volunteers, like the Rastafari Indigenous Village is organizing volunteers and training them and orienting them to support the community. So is a big exercise of one, and there's legal aspects. There's ones who are dealing with more the international liaison, a whole network dealing with the media aspect. We have exciting things coming up in terms of next activations, which I won't bother bust everything on the one program. But yeah, just to say big up, Brother Kwazi. It is really a lot of pieces of the jigsaw that are being put together, and we just want to also big up the subscribers here on Lions Voice Network to support this, even in iration. And we know that the funds will be rolling in because Brother Kwazi has set the target, so we look into it.
Mightyful. So, give thanks, and we'll be in tune as always. Big up the entire family. Big up Chakula and the General Field Marshal over there and the entire family. And we look forward to having the eye again on the Lion Voice Network.
Art of love. Rastafari family is a joy. Give thanks.
Art of love. So that is Queen Mother Karida. We have our guests. Here I see him coming in and coming out. We're gonna try just do a sound check and get the levels right. So try with us as we get the mic right. Talk, let me hear, King. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. We've been having a little trouble. Tonight we're gonna be talking about Haile Selassie I the First. Yes, I. Can you put your phone like this? We have a historian in the house. Yes, right there. So tonight we're going to talk about the crowning of Ras Tafari. I know a lot of the item love when we go into the history. This brethren here is a meticulous researcher. If you didn't see his original episode, go forward in the archive. Negus Kamaal Atu. Big up yourself and welcome.
Yes, I. Peace, give thanks for the opportunity. Give thanks in the name of His Imperial Majesty Kidamawi Haile Selassie, King of Kings of Ethiopia, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, the elect of God and light of the world, alongside with Her Imperial Majesty, Empress Menen Asafar, Rastafari.
Big up yourself, Brent Bowling. Before we get started, I'm going to do a whole episode on Marco Rubio's speech, Berlin Conference 2.0. It was a defining historical speech. It's going to go down in the history book. So I'm going to do a whole episode on that. Don't worry yourself. I'm Brent Bowling. Good to see the eye forward on the platform. Rastafari is a far eye, so we don't see what's going on. But our guest tonight, please just introduce a little of your history for the family that is not familiar, and then we're going to jump straight into the topic, you know what I mean? The crowning February 11th was the crowning anniversary of the Ascension from the Chazmach to Ras. So we want to get that history from the brethren. But just give a little brief introduction first.
Yes, I. Yeah, my name is Kamaal Atu Richards. I go by the name Negus Kamaal Atu. Representative. Oh, sorry, the phone is detaching here. Pardon us. Representative of Naibingi community. Also the Diaspora African Rastafari Congress, who's being currently run by Dr. Jabi. Also a representative of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, local number 12, and various organizations. I can't all recall them. And doing my best to bring the teachings of His Imperial Majesty, the upliftment of His Imperial Majesty in his speeches to the masses, especially to those who don't know His Imperial Majesty. And I do with etymology, the origin of words and letters, to show and prove that the oldest words in this earth are from Africa and Ethiopia. And studying the origin of words, the science of words, the sounds, the meanings, always shows and proves that most, especially the positive words, always originate from Ethiopia and Kemet. And that's from my own research and from what I was taught by some Rastafari elders in Brooklyn. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I'm a student of many different Rastafari elders, whether if it's America, Jamaica, Africa. I've studied under Dr. Biddy in Brooklyn. I've studied under Dr. Ross McPherson, ESP McPherson, who he himself did say that we are cousins, not only because of the last name, but also because when my mom met Dr. McPherson in 2010, they both confirmed that we were related, especially since they were coming from the same area of outside of Maypen in Brooklyn, Jamaica. And the future is bright. Give thanks for the Jazmach Kwazi for centralizing and organizing I&I Rastafari. We have an unaligned media, Rastafari media, to inspire and inform Rastafari on what's happening in the world, our history, our heritage, and leading towards food sovereignty, because that is the future. If you can't feed yourself, you're always going to be enslaved. So that's pretty much it. In today's episode, of course, is going to be focusing on the, not really just the triple crownings of His Imperial Majesty, but more so the first crowning, and maybe a little bit, if we have time, to get into the second crowning. First crowning, His Imperial Majesty was known as, well, of course, his first title is Lich. And then after Lich, he became the Jazmach through his father, Ras Makonnen. And then he received the title Ras. Came in twofold. First, in September 27th, 1916, he was proclaimed as Ras. And then in February 11th, 1917, he was crowned as Ras. And then 1928, His Imperial Majesty was crowned as Negus, or also pronounced as Negus. 2 years later, he received the final crowning, which is the imperial crown, which is Negus Negast. And then he also received and was honored with his baptismal name, which is Haile Selassie. So that's pretty much it. I do have a few documents I was able to gather. And unfortunately, I don't have all of them set, but I do have an abundance of information to show and prove this. Can y'all hear I? Rastafari.
Okay, take us through the history. Yes, take us through the history of the first crowning.
Okay, let me see. I want to find these.
Do you see the can you share your screen? Yeah.
Is it shared right now?
Hold on 1 second. I think I have to pull it up. Let me share your screen. You gotta press share screen on the StreamYard. You see it? Hold on, we may have lost him. Yeah,
Greetings. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so where do I hit share screen?
look at the bottom of your panel there on StreamYard in the app. There
Okay,
should
yes.
be there should be a button that says share screen.
It says stream to your audience. Maybe it's in settings. Nope.
It's the first time we're trying this like this, but the brethren like to show his receipts, as the young people say. So we're gonna try, see if we can get it to come up. We will just have to reason on it. Or what you could do as well, if it doesn't work, you can send it to I, email them to I.
All right, so it's not shared yet, huh?
No, I'll see it pop up on my dashboard. Let me I'm gonna send you my email. That might be the easiest. I just sent my email to the brethren, so he can send them to I, and I can pull them up as he narrates them. So if you're just joining us, we have Negus Kamaal Atu. We're gonna go into the history of the ascension of Rastafari. So we're going into some Ethiopian history today. I know a lot of my audience love when we touch the history. You know what I mean? We go heavy into the history. It's Black History Month. Why not? All right, King. Maybe just try to email them to I, and I can pull them up.
All right, maybe because it's asking me to log in.
Okay. We're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to work it out. In the meantime, in between time, tomorrow, we got big things that go on tomorrow. Let me take this down. We got big things that go on tomorrow. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a special episode, Artists Unite for the Shashamane School, featuring Empress Aidama, Brother Carl Philpotts, and artist Keisha Martin, Grammy-winning artist Keisha Martin. We're going to be talking about the fundraising for Shashamane. We all hear about one singing about Shashamane, all of these things. If you go to the community tab on our YouTube page, you'll see a post about this event with the Eventbrite link. You can go there, give a contribution, buy a ticket like you're going. You know, even if you're in Europe, South America, Africa, just go and buy a ticket like you're going. Make Shashamane feel the strength of the global lion pride. That's tomorrow. Looking forward, it's going to be mightyful. And we're going to have some special guests tuning in from Ethiopia. So you'll never know what's going to happen here. We plug in the network. I tell people that I&I network is I&I superpower. You know what I mean? Everybody have a superpower. I&I superpower is a network. You see how many different types of ones come on this platform. We have grassroots, we have, engineers, we have scientists, all different aspects of Rastafari, farmers, you name it. You know what I mean? We bring all different, because we wanted to show you can't put Rastafari in a box. We have artists, you know what I mean? We have artisans, you know what I mean? All of the different aspects of the liberty converge here. And we also have our EWF family featured. We also, the Black peoples of the world. And we also have our Orthodox family here too. Pan-African family here. We have an episode up, some clips from Baba Rashid Nori. If you haven't seen those, go check it out. He used to run the Nation of Islam farm. And he's talking about Black food sovereignty. You know what I mean? Let me take a sip. Big up from me at King Design, Ras Lidge, anyway there. Love and honor. Yes, so I'm waiting for the bridge to come forward. He's having some technical difficulties. We're not even gonna try to make him bring in the documents when he come. We just want to hear him block on the history. He's a knowledgeable brethren. He has a lot of history to share. So I know tonight will be an interesting episode. And in the meantime, let me see who's here. If you're watching live, let us know where you're watching from. The global family, Sister Emmanuel, I see the eye. Beautiful, beautiful emoji. You can't beat Sister Emmanuel. When it come on to emoji work, you can't beat Sister Emmanuel. Don't try it. Game Amp me. She have different alias where she use. Marketing wizard. And she's sharp with the emojis. You know what I mean? So big up yourself, Lion Pride on Patreon. Yes, King. So big up. We lost a few people, as I said, on the Lion Pride on Patreon. With this AI revolution, a lot of people losing their work, you know what I mean? Tuning in from North Carolina. Big up yourself, humble lioness. All my US Rasses, big up yourself, you know what I mean, who are here on this soil with I and I. You know what I mean? Especially those whose bloodline run forward to the Africans that went through the tribulation here on this soil. Big up on yourself, you know what I mean? Blessed evening out of Kentucky, Ras Roots. I had a nice reasoning with Ras Roots, one of our Lion Pride on Patreon. Big up yourself. Johnny Johnson, one of our Ubuntu Lion Pride. And you can become part of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. It's a one-time contribution of $100 US. It's a lifetime distinction. I'll put up the information. And that just, is a strength because not everybody can do the monthly. A lot of our Lion Pride on Patreon family are also Ubuntu Lion Pride members. So here on the Lion Pride, you don't have to give $1, but we give thanks for everyone who see the work that we're putting in and value the work enough to even, give an attribution. Big up yourself, Elder Johnny Johnson. We still have the raffle. We're at, I think, 42 people in the Patreon. So we were getting close to 50 and then we lost steam, but we give thanks. We know it's rough out there, you know what I mean? Everyone is going through it. Yes, we came, you here, I and I. Big up Ras Tafari, big up yourself, one of our faithful Lion Pride, always supporting. Also, Lidge, big up yourself for the link with Dawe Congo. We had a nice reasoning with Dawe Congo, the artist. We're going to be sharing that soon, so look out for that. Big artist, roots reggae artist, Dawe Congo. My Lion Pride, they link me one away and them say, yo, we know this one. And, I get those calls every day, practically. That's how the platform is growing now. So when I started the platform, my superpower was my network, I knew that. Since the platform has been running, that amplified 20 times, you know what I mean? So stay tuned. We have Medicine, Dawe Congo. We have a lot of artists that we're going to be sharing with the item soon, a lot of artists. The fire is burning. Okay, we saw that. Big up Bongo Wisely. Big up Brent Bowling talking about the Marco Rubio. And I told the item I'm going to do a whole episode on the Marco Rubio, probably a reaction video where we can just take it in because it's a historic, it's like Otto von Bismarck at the Berlin Conference kind of vibe, you know what I mean? And black people, the world, basically the United States put the world on notice. The age of colonialism is not going away. Remember, we were neo-colonialism age, and now they're declaring that they're not going anywhere without a fight. So, no way you do. So everybody on the earth is preparing for war, and I preparing for peace. You know what I mean? As Rastafari, we're preparing for what will exist in the aftermath. You know what I mean? We call it Zion on earth. Everybody have a name for it. Heaven on earth, the Edenic return. People call it different things, but we're gonna play our part. You know what I mean? Rastafari have a part to play, and we're getting our act together to play that part. So big up on yourself. Brett Bowling always coming with some facts here. Africa comes from the Phoenician word afar. Um, okay, Africa, which means fruit of the Berbers. The North, the name came into use with the Romans via Numidia. Ranoko Rashidi has a different origin for the word Africa. I went to a lecture, the late Ranoko Rashidi, powerful historian, and I think there was the Afri people or something like that, and Kamin Lan, and so there are different origins, and they say that predates the Berber or the Phoenician thing. So there are different theories as to Africa. The word Ethiopia originates with the Greeks. The Ethiopians would tell you that Ethiopia predate the Greek. The Greeks were studying. The Greeks were not original people. That's why you have to understand Brett Bowling. They learned everything from Kemet, and Kemet was getting it from, Kemet was a daughter of Kush and Ethiopia, so it come down the Nile. So, a lot of people like to credit the Greeks for the name Ethiopia, but it's a Haitian name, just like Kemet was, the soil black, just like the Sumerians call themselves the black-headed people, Ethiopians, land of the sunburn. So all of these things, in ancient time, predate European influence. They were parroting what they heard from anciency. NYC in the place, a good Lion Pride family, NYC representing our Haitian family. Lidge Tafari, big up yourself. You say you're not gonna make Ras Root stand up and fire him gun on the battlefield by himself. $5 attribution. Because sometimes one of the things Lion Pride I don't understand. Every time we go live and I have to big up Ras Roots, I told him this when I reason with him, because we do consultation as well, that I always give thanks because he's living the envision of how I envision the Lion Pride. You give a $5, you give a attribution. He follows up with the guests, to see how we can give. And it's not big money. Don't feel like big money is gonna free us from bondage. It's the mickle mecca muckle. The little money that we would spend on a bag of chips or this, it's feeding the ecosystem with it. So grassroots is the example. So I give thanks when I see man like Lidge Tafari, who was our next faithful Lion Pride, said, me not go make grassroots fire and gun by himself on the front line, Me not go make the Chaz match out there and do the work and we sit down and we not do nothing, you know what I mean? So I love that about the Lion Pride. And my Lion Pride and Patreon, our monthly subscribers, they're always in the chat. Freeway Dread, Lion Pride and Patreon. So when you see it's not I by myself, you know what I mean? There's a whole crew of us who are making this thing possible and who are driving this energy. And we're asking ones to join. Look for me, my brother, Mark Taylor, big up yourself, King. You know what I mean? Grow with them man there. You know what I mean? Actor. And big up, we had a nice reason. Some of my youth childhood friends from Canada tuning in. It's a love, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give thanks. If you haven't seen the episode we did with Mark Taylor, go forward. He was the star of a very famous movie in black culture called 17 Again with Tia and Tamara, one of them big films where he was the uncle, the father, and him take the youth serum and they were both young. That's my brother whom I grow with, you know what I mean, as youth and youth. So big up yourself, Mark Taylor in the comments. Johnny Johnson, our elder. We're still waiting for come on for come forward. Let me sound the brother. Let's see really what I'm going. Johnny Johnson says, how do you have to travel to Africa to be a Pan-Africanist or Parish person? Do you have to be a member of the African Union 6th region to be a long distance follower of all things in Ethiopia or African Union? I don't think you have to do that, but the thing I always say is that location, where you are is gonna impact how you experience this Armageddon time. So at a minimum, just be where you have access to land and farmers. That's all I say. I think repatriation for those of us who are called, but not everybody going to repatriate is not realistic. But wherever we are, we need to be preparing, or wherever we're preparing to. So again, this is going to be a long war. The Gideon War is not overnight. It's like a blink of an eye because the years are flying by, but it's going to be a dreadful and long war. So we're preparing. Ras Kamaal, can you hear I?
Yeah, I hear the eye. You hear I?
Yeah, man. We're waiting on the eye. What's the fullness?
Yeah, it looked like this email was
don't worry about the email. Just come on. Just come on and reason with the family. We want to hear from the eye.
Okay, it looked like it was just moving very slow with all these nitrous that I was
Yeah, no problem. Just come on in the meantime and make a reason with the eye. All right.
Try this one more time.
Yes, He's trying to email me some documents that we can bring up on the screen. The brethren have a whole heap of receipts he wants to share with the history of the crowning of the Chazmach Tafedi as Ras Tafari. That's the Amharic. We say Tafari. When we translated across the Atlantic, Ras Tafari. In Amharic, they say Tafedi. One to be feared, one to be respected, or he who inspires awe, terrible and dreadful among the heathen. We want to get into the history. I chose the name the Chazmach, which is commander of the gate or keeper of the door, which is a military title because before you get to Ras, you have to be the Chazmach. And we look at the different stages of our development. He was born as Lige, as a royal prince. As the Chazmach, he became governor of Harar. He started to govern. He started to sit in judgment every Wednesday and Friday, hearing court cases from the age of 16. And as the Chazmach, we have to understand when we talk about the story of this man. He was a legend from he was a child because of his intellect. He was an old soul. So, even the travelers, all of the accounts of when people went to see Ras Makonnen, who was his father, they would remark about this little youth, bright-eyed youth, where, would ask them questions beyond his years, and they would just be marveling. So people were whispering. The church fathers were whispering. He mastered the ancient text when he was a little youth, spoke his Amharic, French, many languages. He had different tutors. So this is a child prodigy in Ethiopia when we talk about Lige Tafedi. And then now becoming the Chazmach, again, sitting in judgment, he was given the title of the Chazmach at the age of 13 by Emperor Menelik. And the death of his father, was recommended by his father. But Menelik marveled when he met this youth, the son of his nephew or his cousin. He marveled, So by time he reaches the time where he's heir to the throne, there's a controversy with Lijayasu. Lijayasu is leaning, just like today where you have the Cold War happening. At that time, you had the Ottoman Empire, which was Turkey, which is now known as Turkey. They were one of the reigning powers, and they were aligned with the Soviet or the Russians, and then you had the Allied with Britain, France, and they were backing a young the Chazmach Tafari. He had made contact with them. He spoke French, so they liked deal with him, And then Lijayasu was really having a vision of uniting the Christian and the Muslim, saying that he was a descendant of Muhammad and that he was also a descendant of Solomon, so uniting the two historic branches in himself. And but the thing with Lige Ayasu is that he didn't have the discipline. You know, he was known as a womanizer, disrespecting elders, behaved some type of way where he didn't have favor. So, you know, he had multiple wives at this time, which if you're in the Orthodox Church, is forbidden. You know, if you have an Orthodox union, one woman, you know, I mean, according to the Orthodox, they don't do polygamy. In Islam, in Ethiopia, you can have up to, I think, 4 wives. So I think Lijai also had about 4 wives. And he was going to the mosque and praying, you know what I mean, doing all the outward signs of Islam. So he was excommunicated from the Orthodox Church and therefore made ineligible to sit on the throne. And this is where now His Majesty was appointed heir to the throne, with Zaditu, Menelek's daughter, being appointed as the Empress, you know, the Queen of Kings on the throne. So it was a tense time in Ethiopia, because remember, all of the people at this time, all of the people still had private armies. It's not His Majesty didn't get full control of Ethiopia until after the Italian invasion in 1941 when he returned, whereas all of the armies consolidated under central government. But up until that time, every Ras had a private army, so the loyalty was to the Rases, you know, or the branches of the Solomonic line, whether it be Gondar, whether it be Gojam, whether it be, you know what I mean, Wollo, you know, so the armies were all independent armies. So when His Majesty, you know, was appointed heir to the throne, it's tense because everybody who followed Lijayasu, I remember Lijayasu, his father is Ras Mikael, who was born Muhammad Ali. So when Lijayasu is excommunicated, his father's vexed because, of course, he's losing that power. And so the realm is tense, you know what I mean? That Tafari, they feel he didn't have a strong claim as the male descendants of the Solomonic line. You know, Ras Makonnen's mother was related to Menelik. That was Menelek's sister, you know what I mean? So he's really coming off of the female line. So a lot of the Ethiopians felt that His Majesty's claim was weak to the throne. So they didn't have any expectation that he would be the one sitting on the throne. But again, he was a legend by his deeds, you know, coming from the nobility, but he was extraordinary in terms of how he administrated the country, bringing in modern reforms. One of the things he did in Harar, let me give you an example. We're just reasoning until Negus Kamaal come forward. Because we know the history, but we're giving the brethren an opportunity to share. Again, he has receipts, he's emailing them now. So prayerfully we'll get that going and get some of them up on the screen. But one of the examples of what His Majesty did in ancient time in Ethiopia, when the army march out to a space, say the army is in Harar, every farmer from around the area is going to get pillaged because the army have to eat. There's a big encampment, the army have tents, so you could look miles to the horizon. It's 5,000 warriors that come in the army. They're seated because the army were made up of, there wasn't standing armies in those times. In those times, you're a farmer, you're a carpenter, you're a mason, and when they beat the war drum, the negaret, then everybody come, you get your rifle. If you're a nobility, you have money for your rifle, you have some long gun, you have, you know, your sword. If you're a nobility, if you're not, you know, you may have your spear. You're working class, you have, you know, something. You bring your weapon and you report to the Ras, and then he organized the ones. He had, you know, the Rases had some of the ones who they paid that were more skilled, but most of the ones were just farmer and just warrior culture, because that's how Ethiopia was. So anywhere that the army went was a burden on the population, because the army man them would just come at your farm and see your goat, take your goat, slaughter your goat, and that is dinner for the night. So the farmers, the longer the army was in the area, it create a burden on the population. So one of the first things, and this is His Majesty as a young teenager, just to put things in perspective, you know what I mean? He's maybe 17, 18 years old when he's doing these works. One of the things he did is organize so that the army would have a salary, that the army would be in barracks. He built barracks for them so that they could stay in one place instead of spread out with their tents and everything. He built centralized housing. He made them stay with the general. Back in the day, they would only see the general if they were mobilized. So he started standardized. He started pay them a salary. So they're now getting payroll, you know what I mean? So he's standardizing. And this is why the people love His Majesty as a youth, because he made things easier for them. So if you're a farmer and you're used to being pillaged by the military, and now the military not coming, or if they come and buy your goat, you know, or they're giving you're going to feel different, you know. So this is how he built his support among the regular people, which would culminate in him elevating the peasants into citizens, you know, down the line, the legend, as he gave the people a constitution, you know, and made every Ethiopian a citizen and no longer just a peasant. Because when you're a peasant, you never really have no full freedom, you know what I mean? So when we say set the captives free, a man might feel a way about how Rastafari talk about His Imperial Majesty, but when you know the history, you can't say it's a lie. That's why I love Rastafari liberty, you know what I mean? You can't say it's a lie, because the man really did set the captives free, you know what I mean? But at this early age, what Rastafari or what the Chazmach Tafari was doing was making things easier for the people. And that's just one example of something that he did within the military to have ease. And he was following the Chazmach Yilma, and there was some other governance. And in his autobiography, he talks about the difficulty he had because proper records were not taken. So he had to do mapping, all of these things. All right, my brother.
Okay, so what do we have here? All right, I just sent you the links, my brother.
All right. So start talking. I'm gonna start pulling them up.
Right.
Take us through the early history of the crowning of. This is the untold story of the crowning of the Chazmach Tafari into Ras.
Okay, the image up. I don't see anything.
Keep talking. I'm gonna bring it up. I gotta bring it up.
Okay.
Talk. I'm gonna bring it up.
So yes, His Imperial Majesty had numerous titles during the empire, his ruling of Ethiopia. Of course, we know the oldest, the first that he had is when he was Lich, which means royal boy. And I think it was 1905 or 1906 when his father, Ras Makonnen, gave him the title the Chazmach, which means commander of the gate or keeper of the door, which is the I title, the Chazmach Kwasi. Of course, I know you already know that. And to receive that title, I believe 12 or 13 years of age, and some grown men in Ethiopia in the last like 400 or 500 years plus never received that title. And he received that title at a young age of 12, 13. You know, same age as my oldest son, actually. And he was governing towns, Sadamo, Harar. I believe there was a third one. You could probably speak of that, the Chazmach Kwasi. I don't know if you know that third town. When he was the Chazmach, he governed 3 separate towns, 3 different areas and 3 different times. And after he received the Chazmach, which was 1905 or 1906, there was a time when the whole world was at war. Now, we call World War I, but in 1914, they didn't call it World War I. If they had called it World War I, that means that they would have automatically been expecting World War II. So if you look in the old books in the 1910s and the 1920s, they called it the Great War. And in 1914, I was researching, I saw that the Ottoman Empire sent some spies into Africa. They came through Tanzania, on the coast of Tanzania, and they made their way up into Kenya, and they made their way up on the eastern side of Ethiopia, right? And they made their way into the kingdom, or I shouldn't even call it kingdom, it was the wannabe kingdom of Lidjasu. And Lidjasu was being given gifts from the Ottoman Empire, who was at that time trying to work with the Axis. I don't think they were called the Axis at that time in World War I. That was more of a World War II title. So the Germans and the Ottoman Empire were teaming up, and they, like I said before, they sent spies into Ethiopia. And they came through Tanzania, then they went through Kenya, and then they went through Ethiopia, and they connected with Lidjasu. And they were giving Lidjasu gifts, alcohol, so many guns. They gave him an opportunity to be the emperor of Ethiopia. So he thought, Lidjasu thought that he was going to be the emperor, just like that, without having the approval of the entire empire. The people, the government, the clergy, nobody approved of that because he was not worthy. He was going to take the empire from being a Judeo-Christian empire to be a Muslim empire. And it's not like there's anything against Islam. It's just the fact that it was being done under making it seem like they needed protection from the Ottoman Empire during World War I. But that's not the case. They were trying to colonize Ethiopia by acting like they were protecting them. So these spies, and they made their way and they found out what Lidjasu wanted: guns, alcohol. It's like a hip hop party, a negative hip hop party, kind of. You know, all the women and all the folly and all that. So he was into that, and Lidjasu had to get spanked, not literally, but you know. So the Empire of Ethiopia, the soldiers and the clergy who didn't agree with each other, they said they had to make the Ras Tafari become Ras Tafari, and that was September 27th, 1916, which is the same day as Moscow. And then there was two battles that came after that. And after those two battles, I believe that was the time when and you could correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still trying to put all the dates together. Hopefully I can put a documentary together of His Imperial Majesty and either use AI or preferably an actual person to play it. But what I was going to say is there was a time when Rastafari put gold handcuffs on Lidjasu, and I believe this might have been that time, or it was maybe a couple years later. But anyway, when was it?
No, one of the things is that remember that when this happened, Lidjasu escaped capture. There were some scuffles, and he was on the run for a good amount of time. You know.
Okay.
Until you know, I think the golden shackles was before the Italian invasion. He was killed right before then, but I think it was some time before they captured him. I can't remember how long he was on the run.
Okay, so I'm probably like maybe 5 to 10 years ahead of my time then. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll clarify that. Let me bring up something here. Let's test and see what you have here.
I don't know, you may have to download it. I'm not sure what kind of file I send it to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, see what's on the screen there?
Yeah, you sound a little muffled on my end, and it looks like it's buffering. I'm not sure if the community can see, but on my end, it's buffering. So there's no way I could do the share video. Man, it's not. I don't see where that button would come up.
Yeah, don't press anything, because you're sounding good. You're coming through clear. Don't press anything. I brought up a video, but you probably can't see it on your end. All right. Greeting. Can you hear I? Okay, I don't know what he pressed. We're gonna ask him.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I don't press anything else. We just work with. I brought up the video, but it looks like you can't see it on your side. But it's playing. Let me know in the comment section. Big up himself, Brett Bowling said Homer was the first historical record of using the name where he honored Ethiopia, was where the Greek culture originated. And as I said, one of the things about Ethiopia is that the history is not really shared of the is and manuscript. They're very secretive people, so they just let the rest of the world come up with whatever they want to talk about. But words like Ethiopia, they would tell you predate the Greeks, you know what I mean? So we get the Greek history. So the first place we see Homer say it, but where did Homer get it from? You know what I mean? These are the things we have to know, that, as I said, the Greeks were not original, and a lot of things that they take from the continent. We're working it out. The brethren has sent a lot of material. So I'm here as I'm talking, downloading some of the document. The brethren brought receipts, they would say, the young people would say, you know what I mean? So I'm downloading some of this so we can go through some of these things, you know what I mean? Let me test. So you can see Zaditu, Empress Zaditu. This is one of the pictures from the crowning. In pointed heir to the throne, there's Ras Tafari, along with Zaditu, the new face of Ethiopia. This is right after the First World War. Again, it was known as such, but Ethiopia is really emerging on the world stage at this time. So it's a serious projection, you know what I mean? And you see them posing for pictures, so they understood the power of propaganda at this time, and that they had to represent this ancient culture to the world. So you see Ethiopia, the glory, and these images would have been shared. You know, these were the kind of images that Black people around the world would have been watching, you know what I mean? So you can see the might and the power projection of this ancient empire. Serious. Let me see what else the brethren sent here. That print is very small for us to see. Let me see if I can make it bigger. This is the new Queen of Sheba. Okay, this is from a magazine article. So one of the things that the brethren loves to do is, he lives in New York, is go to the libraries and photograph like some of the original works. So I think some of this is from 1916, what was being written in the foreign press. So we'll get him to and talk about it. We are working through the technical difficulties. But this is what the young people call receipts. All right.
Yes, I. Mic check.
Yes, I. There I can see the screen. Can the eye see the screen? Fire?
You there, Fireman?
Yes, I am here. We hear the eye clearly. Can the eye hear I?
Okay, I hear you now. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Can you see the screen? The
Yes,
image
I
on the
see it.
screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, what are we looking at? It's called
Okay.
the new Queen of Sheba.
Okay, this is I should have used a clearer image, but all right, it says the new Queen of Sheba. This is an article. All right, from my research, this seems to be the oldest newspaper article that references His Imperial Majesty. It's from 1916. It says the new queen, the first crown to fall, as a direct result of the present war, is an African one. Now remember, this is referring to World War I. You know, this is not World War II. This is 1916, and it says, whoops, it says the only state left in Africa that is not under the domination of one other of the great powers is the ancient Christian Empire of Ethiopia, commonly called Abyssinia, whose sovereigns claim descendant from the biblical Queen of Sheba. Now, another queen rules the land as the result of a revolution which took place a month or two ago. The story as told by Paris Illustration runs, quote, the revolution in Ethiopia shows the influence of the war upon that Christian land, and it has resulted in favor of the Allies. Quote, the young emperor Lij Yasu became a Muslim under it is alleged German influence. Notwithstanding the discontent aroused among the Abyssinian princes by the apostasy and libertinism of the emperor, he managed to maintain himself in power by the aid of the Mohammedan tribes on the eastern border and by moving the capital of the empire from Addis Ababa to Harar. Rastafari, governor of the province of Harar, a son of the famous Ras Makonnen, whom Lij Yasu had tried to put out of the way, has placed himself at the head of the opposition, which was composed of all the ministers and native princes, and he produced the dethronement of the Negus, as the emperor is called. On the 27th of September, Moscow was celebrated, the national feast day, and at Addis Ababa, the supreme head of the national church, the Abuna Mattheos, solemnly released the Abyssinian nation from its oath of allegiance and declared Lij Yasu deposed from the throne. Amid scenes of the much popular enthusiasm, he proclaimed as Empress Zauditu, younger daughter of the late Emperor Menelik II, and installed as regent and heir to the throne of Rastafari. A tentative rebellion was promptly suppressed. Some 30 chiefs were put to death. Others were thrown into prison and order was restored. Meanwhile, the ex-Negus made a fight for his rights. Illustration proceeds. And the bottom part reads this, quote, the deposed ruler who was at Harar when these events took place attempted to reestablish his throne, aided by his father, the powerful Ras Michael. The army of the new government promptly joined battle with the troops of Lij Yasu, and on October 27th, after a second and very sanguinary engagement, captured Ras Michael, thus terminated a tragedy that was started by German and Turkish intrigue. Ethiopia remains Christian, while our Muslim colonial empire and that of England have withstood all the assaults of our enemies. End quote. Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear I.
Yeah, I hear I. I hear the I.
You there, Adrian?
Yes, I. Did I hear I?
Is my mic on?
Yes, I. We hear the I clearly. The I can hear I.
I don't hear anything. Mic check. Mic check.
You're not hearing I? Check, check, check. Let me know if the item can hear I in the comments.
Yeah, I don't hear anything, the jazz much.
Yes, let I know if you can hear anything in the comments. We're checking. We're getting it together. Can you hear I? All right. One said that they hear I. What are we looking at here?
Can you hear me? Mic check.
Once can hear I. Can you talk about this that
I don't
we're
know if you
looking
can hear me. Peace, peace, peace. Rastafari.
Can you hear
Oh,
I?
I don't know if it's
Can you hear I now?
okay. Now I hear you.
Okay.
Did you hear me at all when I was talking,
Yeah,
or
man,
was
we
I?
heard everything loud and clear. We heard everything. I'm going to pull up another document. I want you to
Okay.
explain. I'm just going to pull up the documents and then I just explain what we're looking at. All right?
Yes, sir. Forgive. I sent. I think I sent there like 300 images, so maybe that's why I was
Yeah,
taking
you
off.
load up the thing. You load up the thing, but that's how you live your life. So I'm not going to judge the eye. Go ahead. What are we looking at?
Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, now it's not really what it says. It's really what the image is. Now this picture seems to be one of the first pictures the whole world has ever seen of Rastafari. If you look on the bottom left, it's titled Rastafari, the new regent and heir to the Queen of Sheba's throne. And on the right, you see an image of Lij Iyasu, the ex-emperor of Abyssinia, deposed for becoming a Muslim. Now, it's not just for becoming a Muslim. It's more than that. It's because he was trying to make the entire empire Muslim under the lies of the Ottoman Empire. You know what I said earlier, that the Germans and the Ottoman Empire, how they sent spies into Africa. This document here doesn't say that, but there was another book I was reading many years ago, and I wish I remembered. I should have put a note on that. But I was reading it, and it said that the Ottoman Empire sent spies into Africa. They planned all this. You see what I mean? They planned this. And these spies came in through Tanzania, and they went through Kenya, and they went through the eastern side of Ethiopia, and they met with Lij Yasu, manipulating him to go against the throne of Ethiopia. Right? So when that happened, that's why the clergy, that's why all the soldiers chose to make Dijaz Maj Tafari Rastafari Makonnen. And Lij Yasu's family didn't support that. So it caused little battles here and there. And of course, Rastafari and his soldiers were victorious. I don't know if you can get to the next image, the Jaz Quasi, because
Yeah,
I
man.
wish I had access to change the pictures, but I guess maybe I'm not too familiar with this new iPhone 17 or something. I'm not sure if it's that, or maybe my phone doesn't have that capability as of yet to.
What's this?
Okay, which image is this? Okay, I was supposed to be speaking on certain terms that are related to Rastafari. It's a possibility that maybe some of these images may have came out of context, but this is just a term that I was going to show once that's actually in a dictionary. It speaks of dreadlocks, and if you see right here, it says long, thin braids or uncombed, twisted locks of a style worn originally by Rastafari.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could get to the next image. Okay, yeah, it looks like when I emailed this, all those images came out of order. So I believe I read this one already.
You read that one already? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't hear anything right now.
Yeah,
They just
right
much
now.
quasi.
You hear right now? Can I hear right now?
Mic check, mic check. I don't hear anything right now.
Did I hear right now?
Okay, can you hear me? Nod your head if you can hear me. Oh, you can. Okay. See, I can't hear you though. All right, so I'm gonna run through this one in the Webster's College Dictionary. If you look up Haile Selassie, you get the word Selassie, and then it guides you and it says see Haile Selassie right there on the bottom. All right, next image, please. Wow. All the images done come out of order. Oh man, this is not the way it's supposed to be, brethren. So this is the part when I'm oh man. This is the part speaking on Grover Redding from Chicago. So even though it's out of order, I'm still gonna go through.
Yes, I. Yes.
So from Chicago, we have an elder, and we have to honor him. And I received notice of this from a few brethren and sisters from the EWF Incorporated. I first heard of this information 15 years ago. No, 16, about 16 years ago, around like 2010, 2011. I heard, a few brethren and sisters telling me that Rastafari, I won't say started in America because it really started in Ethiopia, but United States of America, Harlem and Chicago and Newark, New Jersey, had a major role to play in Rastafari. And what I'm saying is that there's an elder by the name of Grover Redding. I don't know if the next image shows that, Quasi. Let me see what it says. It says, I am a radical. Yeah, these are the comments of Grover Prophet Redding. And a lot of this information, you could research and go check Brother Floyd Jarvis. He has done some extensive research with this. So I'm just pretty much repeating his research. And he did an interview on I Never Knew TV. So I encourage everyone to watch that. So right here it says 2 days later, Prophet Redding was hanged. Okay, so this is after what I was about to say. Grover Redding was a brother who saw that His Imperial Majesty's visits of 4 diplomats that were coming from Ethiopia. Right? In 1919, His Imperial Highness Ras Tafari Makonnen sent 4 diplomats to come to New York City and Washington, D.C. to inspire black men and women to repatriate to Africa. And 1 year later, there was Grover Redding, and he was in Chicago, and he saw this. And he saw this as the fulfillment of Psalm 68:31. Princes shall come out of Egypt, and Ethiopia shall soon stretch forth their hands unto God. And according to the document, I don't know if it says it here. What does it say in the next I-Trip, brethren?
Hold on.
You ever go to the next one?
Hold on 1 second here.
You can hear me? Nod your head if you could. Oh.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't see any images right now.
Hold on 1 second there. The man load up my email, family. When I said the man come with receipts.
Yeah, I can't hear anything right now.
Don't worry yourself. They can hear the eye. They can hear the eye.
Okay, you say you can hear me?
Yes, I.
Okay, yeah, but I don't see any. Okay.
Hold on. Hold on, let me take that out.
Yeah, man, I don't know why the documents were sent that way. I sent the 350 different images, so they might have been scattered when I sent it via email. You know what I know? I know why it's scattered, because when you were probably downloading it, they all downloaded in different times.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what it was.
That's exactly what happened, my brother.
It says My Motherland, Ethiopia membership application. These are one of the forms from the Rastafari community in Chicago and New York City. And this is before 1930. All this information is coming through the 1910s and the 1920s. When His Imperial Highness Ras Tafari Makonnen sent 4 diplomats to speak to the government of America to revisit the treaty between Ethiopia and United States of America under the rule of Emperor Menelik II. His Imperial Highness Ras Tafari was using this as a way to bring Africans from USA, the Caribbean, and even Europe to return to Africa, mainly Ethiopia, to build up the empire from within. And once he sent those 4 diplomats, it inspired many Africans in the West, Jamaica, USA, but the USA participants were called the Abyssinians. And these are the groups out of Chicago. And Grover Redding led them. And it said that he sat on a horse and he held up a
United States flag, and he actually set it on fire. One of these documents say that. I don't know if you could slide to that, Quasi. Yeah, we may have to find a way to redo all this again. Instead of me sending an email, I'm gonna have to do it straight from my phone, but I'm not sure exactly why that's not working this way. You hear that, brethren? Mic check, mic check. Yeah, that was the last one. Any other images came up that was downloaded to your computer? Yeah, I think all those images were already covered. All right, which one is this? Government Rastafari. Yeah, these are the biblical prophecies that the Rastafari, the Ethiopians in New York and Chicago were using right here in America. It says, on the other hand, biblical prophecy said that the Ethiopian ambassadors would come to announce the return of the scattered Ethiopians to Zion. Therefore, reasoned Prophet Redding, who's Grover Redding, salvation in this lifetime meant becoming Ethiopian to escape Jim Crow. The Star Order of Ethiopia in Chicago would rather the scattered Ethiopians to wait on the Lord for their return, all the while preparing themselves for business in Ethiopia. Here it says, for $1, the Star Order of Ethiopia provided an Ethiopia flag, a small pamphlet containing a prophecy relating to the return of the black-skinned people to Africa, a copy of the treaty between the United States and Ethiopia, and a picture of Rastafari. The pamphlet quoted Zephaniah 3, 8 through 10, Isaiah chapter 18, and Psalm 68, verse 30, chapter 30 through 31, and published the following message on their membership application. It says, quote, this is to certify that my name was given to Elder Grover Redding, missionary to Abyssinia, to show my brothers in my motherland that I am with them, heart and soul. I have signed my name as an Ethiopian in America in sympathy with our motherland, Ethiopia. I henceforth denounce the name Negro, which was given me by another race. All right, let me see.
Those were the Rastafarites.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now I hear you, brethren.
Yeah, those were the Rastafarites. And this history is now becoming, you know what I mean, more apparent. And this predates Leonard Howell in Jamaica. So for the Jamaica family, it's very important that I and I understand these things, you know.
Definitely.
That in America, you had ones that were hailing His Majesty. And as I say, the movement started in Ethiopia. I think the first Rastafari was Empress Menen, you know. But we can't speak about his tutors and the ones who encountered him, but we definitely know Empress Menen saw the divinity and followed them without, you know, flaw, according to his own testimony. So, and that would have been before 1919. So, you know what I mean? These are the things that we have to understand. Ethiopia's first, but America and Black Americans in particular saw the light. It wasn't just Jamaica. This image, which was found by Mama Ascali in Ethiopia, doing some research. Talk about this image here, Fire.
Yeah, this was the first image that I was gonna put up to explain the different titles of His Imperial Majesty. And obviously in this picture, give thanks for Mama Ascali, because this is something brand new to I and I from last year. You know, I'm very grateful to see this wonderful image of His Imperial Majesty as a small little youth sitting on a throne. And right here, this is when he had the title Lidge, you know? And it's a clear image. Man, serious image that.
Serious.
And this image right here is when he was, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, it's when he was the Jazmach.
Yes, I.
You know, and that's why he...
Barefoot, and notice the barefoot Iowa in Ethiopia these times. All of these are nobility, but they were barefoot warriors them time. They never had shoes. This is ancient of days, you know.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and what's the next? I'm sorry, you were gonna say something on this one?
No, and they all are just pointing everyone to their rifles, you know. Not no joke thing.
Yeah, that was a way of showing that they're not just riding around with swords and spears. They have shotguns, rifles. Here's another image when His Imperial Majesty was Lidge. You know, showing the different stages of His Imperial Majesty. And this is the image that we saw before in that article. His Imperial Majesty right here posed. I think this is from September 27th, if I'm not mistaken, of 1916. You see him posing right there. If you look, it's not this one. Oh, it's the other one. When he's posing, when he's at the coronation. But this one here, man, I love this eye tree. I love it when His Imperial Majesty wears African attire. You know,
yes.
I love that.
Yes, this is a traditional Ethiopian. We had Prince Afsa Wilson on the platform, and that was one of the critiques he had of His Majesty, is that after the war he was wearing so much European garments, you know. But yeah. I said my interpretation was because he now had a duty to really save the earth. You know what I mean? The mission went outside of Ethiopia, yet he presented himself in a way that the people, you know what I mean, it would be easier for the globe to really accept the image, you know, that if he came terrible and dreadful, like young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have been very difficult for that time and space where the earth was at that time, you know? And, you know, we can question the choice, but when you look at all of the crowds and the throngs of people, how they greeted him on his world travel, it's hard to argue that he made a wrong choice, you know what I mean, based on the evidence, how he was received.
His Imperial Majesty is the best dressed person on earth, if you ask me.
What are we looking at here?
Negro Universal King coming to the world. This is an image, it's a little faded, of Reverend Webb from New York City. It says, the Kaiser and Napoleon failed in war. To Universal Kings, the coming Negro King will not fail. A reference book to the Bible tells the facts and picture of the king. And I can't read that part there. I think it says $10 or $12 for a book. Then it says Negro characters in the Bible, 4 picturesque, 2 forms. Number 1, Negro King Solomon. So pretty much Reverend James Webb, who you see right there, was prophesizing the existence of His Imperial Majesty. The crowning, I should say, of His Imperial Majesty. And he was in New York City, and I believe he was also in Newark, New Jersey. And he was interpreting a lot of the characters in the Bible for being black. You know, and nothing personal against reverends and deacons and bishops and so on of today, but something was really going on in the iris of African men in New York and Chicago. And them reverends were not playing. They wanted to deal with Africa. They saw Psalm 68, verse 31, and they saw His Imperial Majesty, then as His Imperial Highness, as the fulfillment, the prophecy being fulfilled. And I don't know if you have the page right there when it reads about what Grover Redding did in Chicago. I cut you. You were about to say something?
No, I said I'm glad we're having this reasoning because I want people to see you can't put Rastafari in a box. This thing was always global, you know. The knowledge went out there to the four corners of the earth. I use the parable of the sower that you see Yeshua use. Jamaica was just a fertile soil, you know.
Yes, yes, it was.
Jamaica was just a fertile soil, but you had ones that rose up. That would have been the thin soil in America. So you had a movement that rose up. It was fiery, but it burnt out quick because it didn't have the deep soil to catch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it died out in America.
It definitely died out because, and like you said, I'm glad you referenced soil. There's no soil. What can you there's no natural environment in the city of Chicago, New York City, besides Central Park. And we already know what happened to Central Park with Seneca Valley. I don't know if I'm sure you're probably aware of that. There was a community.
Yes.
You know, and then
thriving black community.
Exactly. Right there on 86th Street on the west side of Central Park. All that was black people. So everything that we have, the colonizers take it over. So in Harlem and Chicago, and I believe it was also New Jersey. Now we have to remember those four Abyssinian diplomats did not just go to those three cities. They also went to San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and I think there was a third city too. And I'm saying that because there must have been other black reverends who saw this and said, wow, Psalm 68:31 in full effect. See what I mean?
So that was the height of Jim Crow. That was black people under bondage. That was the height of lynching. That was the height of, you know, because you had Birth of a Nation, all of these things that were, you know, the height of the Ku Klux Klan in America. And these four emissaries were coming. And, you know, the young Ras Tafari was actively recruiting black Americans, you know what I mean, to come and build in Ethiopia. He said that he wanted black Americans because they would cause less upheaval, you know, but, you know, bringing in all these Europeans was frowned upon because Ethiopians are deeply distrustful. But if he could bring in black people to help, you know, who had the skills, he could modernize. This was stopped by the U.S. State Department. So one of the, which they wouldn't issue passports to, you know, people. Reverend Ford was one of the UNIA members in New York that was able to get through, and there were a few others that were able to get through. Reverend Ford was the author of the UNIA national anthem, and he was a Hebrew Israelite. But one of the things that we have to understand is that Rastafari is global. It wasn't just the islands and the Caribbean. What saved Jamaica was that maroonage culture, which the Rastas could run up into the hills, and so they really couldn't kill out the movement like how they were able to suppress it in the States.
Yes, exactly.
We were able to go up into the hills, and that became one of the defining characteristics of Rastafari in Jamaica. What are we looking at here on the screen?
Okay, let's see. Man, unfortunately, everything came in out of order today, I like said before, but let me just read the middle part. It says, this fulfillment of prophecy inspired the faith of Grover, the prophet Redding, to start working. He began to organize Ethiopians, my suppliants, even the daughter or my dispersed, and afflicted and poor people sorrowful, to whom the reproach of it was a burden, to gather them for the solemn assembly to the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, the Mount Zion. The name of the prophet Redding's organization is the Star Order of Ethiopia and the Ethiopian Mission to Abyssinia. The prophet Redding studied the Treaty of Friendship and that the Ethiopian ambassadors renewed with the United States according to the treaty. And there's Article 1. I don't know if you have another image set up.
And I'm just realizing we went over some of this. This is from Balanta. This is Nathaniel's research. We did this with Elder Pennycook before he passed away on that episode we were going
Okay,
through.
yes.
This, and I think even Natanya was, I think he goes by the name of Sifaway, was in the comment section during that episode. But this is some serious research. You can see the email, I think it's balanta.org. All of this, you can go check it out for yourself. Let me see if I can bring up some more documents. Hold on 1 second here. 1 second here. Let me.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the images probably came to you very unorganized because this part here was supposed to be kind of like in the middle of the presentation. You know, I was gonna speak on the actual coronation and what led up to it, and some details of when he became Ras, and which eventually led to 3 years later, which is when His Imperial Highness sent the 4 diplomats.
Okay.
The ambassadors, rather. There's also an article that I added in there referring to the UNIA in association with His Imperial Majesty. But
hold on, let me get rid of this stuff that I brought up already. Let me get this out of here. But this, you know, we love this. We love this. The brethren came with receipts. That's what the young people would say. We love that. What's this here?
okay, this is another one, Kim. This is from This is from 1924. I have another image of it zoomed in because what I did is I took images of certain documents of the 1920s, and then I took several other images zooming in of each paragraph. So I don't know if you have another image showing these details. This is pretty much a document explaining Paul Robeson's association with Rastafari. You know?
Yeah. What was that link? And
yeah,
explain who Paul Robeson is as well.
Oh, you want me to explain? Yes, Paul Robeson. Don't recall exactly too much. I would have to zoom in to read fully detail of the article. But Paul Robeson is man, I was just watching a documentary with him and with my children, I think a couple of weeks ago. And Paul Robeson does not get the credit that he deserves, man. He was a Pan-African, if you ask me. Because in the 1920s and 30s, he was an actor. He's a football player. He went to Rutgers University, you know, same place where my older sister went to school. And he stood for the rights of Black people. And he didn't sit down. He didn't seem to like beg. If you watch his documentaries and interviews, the man did not play. He was a scholar. He did plays. He had to leave America to go to Europe to do his acting, to be successful. What it says? It says Abyssinia king toils on roads with subjects. American missionaries saw Rastafari lugging stones for mending of roads.
Okay, so
yeah, it didn't come out too clear when I took this picture. I'll probably have to zoom in. But these are numerous articles. None of this information is from the 30s yet. We didn't touch nothing in the 30s yet. All this is when he's Rastafari.
But it's important because this is how he built his legend in Ethiopia. People talk about his majesty being a dictator, and they don't know what they're talking about. So this was the thing. His majesty was leading by example. So just like you have a young Ibrahim Traore and everybody hype because he's building roads, this is a blueprint that his majesty was doing from them time there. That
Yes,
article is about them seeing the region Heir to the Throne toiling with rocks and building roads and laying out. So the people are seeing the nobility sweating out there in the hot Ethiopian sun, 9,000 miles above sea level, laying out roads and you know what I mean? He's showing the nobility. You can't just come and rule and kick up your foot them. You know what I mean? This is the reality. So what do I have to do is come with a laptop so you can share your screen, organize it the way that you want. Okay, that's the same article.
Yeah, maybe that was the clear image. You want me to read it for everyone or no?
Yeah, you want to try? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do my utmost best. It says, "A Abyssinian king toils on roads with subjects. American missionaries saw Rastafari lugging stones for mending of roads. His Royal Highness Rastafari, King of Abyssinia, is not above going to a rock pile and carrying stones to mend a road, and doing so with the humblest of his subjects, according to Dr. Thomas Lambi, an American medical missionary at Addis Ababa, Abyssinia, which is obviously Ethiopia, but they said Abyssinia before 1930. Dr. Lambi, who recently returned to his field of labor from the United States, says the New York Times sent an account of the incident of which he was an eyewitness to Dr. J. Campbell White, vice president of the Biblical Seminary. The king of Abyssinia was just given the site to erect the first modern hospital in his kingdom. While in this country, Dr. Lambie got $50,000 from W.S. George of East Palestine, Ohio, with which to erect the hospital. The medical missionary wrote to Dr. White that in his mind, the stone carrying incident revealed, quote, an unusual spirit on the part of an Eastern king, end quote. He said he thought this was a good illustration of the Bible command, quote, bear ye one another's burden and so fulfill the law of Christ, end quote. And to the king, quote, I have just seen a wonderful sight, end quote, wrote Dr. Lambley. This morning after breakfast, I had to go to the Swedish mission to attend two of their members. I got on my wife's gray horse, and as I was in a hurry, dug my heels into his rib and chattered down across the German bridge over the Cubana stream and up the opposite slope at a hard gallop, as the many wasted wanted to go as badly as I did. Quote, when we got to the racetrack, I noticed a big crowd of people coming along, most of them on foot. That's the most I could read by zooming in on that. You there, Adrian? Mic check, mic check.
Yes, I. If you love the content, let me see some emojis. Let me see some energy. You're watching live, or even if you're watching on the replay. Do you love this historical content? We're going to bring the brethren forward so he can do an organized. This is the sneak preview. But the brethren came with receipts, and we love receipts. I am the reading Ras. So this is like heaven on earth to I. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me bring up some more vibration.
Yeah, next time I gotta have it set up so I can use my laptop.
Yes,
I thought that I would have been able to just use everything accurately from the phone, but I was wrong.
Yeah, no problem. I know the Lion Pride love it. What's this that we're looking at here?
I think this might be the second page. See, but again, I sent the like 350 images, so they're all over the place. For all I know, this image could be from.
Can you read it?
Okay, let me see. It's Sir Gordon Guggisberg, who retired as governor of the Gold Coast only a few months ago, also talked with a number of local Negroes. Oh yeah, I think I know. This is the article. I think it's referring to the to Ghana, Gold Coast.
Okay.
Of His Imperial Majesty. Yeah, this is the middle article.
What's this here?
Okay, this is from December 30th, 1922. Abyssinia sends precious stones to King Albert. In Brussels, Belgium, December 29th, a number of costly gifts, including a set of harness mounted in gold and precious stones, have been presented to King Albert by Ras Tafari, Regent of Abyssinia. Among the gifts were also many shields and sabers, one of the shields for merely belonging to Emperor Menelik and used by him at the Battle of Ottawa. Similar gifts were sent from Abyssinia to the late Emperor Nicholas of Russia when he reorganized Abyssinian independence.
So I want people to understand Ethiopian power projection in this time. He's sending Battle of Adwa artifacts, the time when the only African victory over Europe. This is what he's sending as gifts to the foreign. So he's showing the history and the culture, but he's also showing everybody who come invade got defeated. You know what I mean? So this is called diplomatic power projection. So a lot of people come with his minds he was a Western puppet, this, that. This is why as Rastafari we laugh, you know what I mean? Or we ignore them, or we tell them go read some books and know who you're talking about when you come bring up the name of Kadamawi Haile Selassie. You know what I mean? This is why we have a certain kind of boastiness to us as Rastafari people, because we know Janai, you know what I mean? And when you know Janai, you know it's not a plaything. You know, the chess moves on the chessboard, you might not overstand it. But don't come fix your mouth for come run off your mouth about Janai and you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? That's all I'll say there. What are we looking at here?
Okay, this is. Oh yeah, this is the other article. It's still referring to, I believe, in Ghana. It said Gold Coast. Yeah, you have a next one. You have a next one. I would rather read the beginning of it if possible.
What's this here?
Wow, all these articles are completely out of order, brethren. Yo, this one is supposed to be towards the end. This is, man. Yo, my brethren from EWF Local 49. I'm the science scientist to I. This is from 1924, I believe. And it's showing you that it's a spiritual. Let me see where it is. All right, I'm just gonna read it. Shining wisdom like the sun abides in your heart, as it did Gibeon, and my mind is like islands during bad times when there is drought. Then I hope that when hope has gone, you will be like the rod of Aaron. For with silent, resting heart, I shall remember it, the prophecy that he would be emperor. When you return from Babylon, become emperor. Let your news be like the news of Rahab. I don't know if there's I don't know if you could all right, there we go. So this is actually the beginning. Well, what we just read right there is the latter part. It says everyone directs, and you see the time there? The date says the 8th of September 1924. And it's written by Aleka Sertsa. Everyone directs his steps to the place of hope, where he hopes to get something good. Let your running word reach the highest, most important markets. May your word have no limits. Let it be like Eor, the third of the seven heavens. May it reach far, not like the false and wicked word, order of David through Dan concerning Bathsheba. Now see, this is right here. This is the root of this. It says Haile Selassie, referring to who? Teferi. Then it says, you are the house of the Holy Spirit. Tera Zion, shining wisdom, like the sun. Oh, see, this is the latter part that I was just reading before.
Christ and his kingly character. Let them know.
Yes. Mind you, this is 1924, you know.
Yes, before the coronation. Before the coronation.
Now we know that he had that baptismal name, but he wasn't called that. But here we have some liturgy, obviously referring to Rastafari, but it's telling you Haile Selassie. You, and then in quote it says, "You are the house of the Holy Spirit." Wow, man. You see, so that's why this is like why I say, me personally, I know we could say Rastafari started in Jamaica, and then one's going to say something. It started in Ethiopia.
Yes,
The reference was already in Ethiopia. So when His Imperial Majesty sent the 4 diplomats to come to America, he was sharing that love, encouraging everybody to return.
Serious. We're going into some heavy history. Family, if you love it, this is why you need to support the channel. Because you're not getting this anywhere else on the planet Earth right now. And there's no coincidence that we're looking at this document on the eve of the Armageddon war. This war with Iran that is coming is going to be different than every other war that we've seen in the modern era. It's going to be a long war. The global energy markets are going to be impacted. Food, everything is going to be impacted by this war that's getting ready to kick off. So this is not coincidence that we're going into this history to see the ancestors saw the vision of Rastafari. They knew that this man was coming to change the earth. You know what I mean? We are the generation of them that seek him, that seek his face. You know what I mean? What's this here? This is a book?
This book is called The Hidden and Untold History of the Jewish People and Ethiopians, Volume 1.
Okay.
So again, I have to repeat myself. Unfortunately, all the images that I shared came out of order. Now, at least these two are good back to back. The reason why I shared that book was to show that Ethiopia's not version of Judaism or Hebrew, the Hebrew Israelite movement. It's not like it's a version, it's the version. That's why Amos chapter 9, verse 7 is important. It says, "Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Thus saith the Lord." So it's like Israel is pretty much a child of Ethiopia. It doesn't work the other way around. And here, I'm sharing this because, and that last book was written by an Ethiopian, speaks 4 languages, and he put a lot of information in there referring to the order of Melchizedek, which is the order that Jesus Christ, Jesus Christus, actually followed, which is referenced in Hebrews chapter 5, 6, and 7. So onto what we're seeing right now. This is connected to that last image that DI just shared. That was referring to the Hebrew Israelites, or the Beta Israel, rather.
Mm-hmm.
People incorrectly call them the Falasha. That's a derogatory term, so we don't want to deal with that. We want to call them the Beta Israel. Now, in this image on the left side, that's the Beta Israel. They're holding up an image of His Imperial Majesty, if you look very closely. And on the right side is the UNIA, holding up an image of Garvey.
Okay.
So we have the commandment keepers, or the Ethiopian, I should say, commandment keepers of Harlem, standing side by side with the UNIA. And they've shown 2 powerful leaders in the 1920s, Ras Tafari Makonnen on the left, and Marcus Messiah Garvey to the right. It's images like this, how we're supposed to be showing the unity of our people. I know that we have this diaspora war and this foolishness going on. I mean, look, I'm not against anybody.
Divide and rule tactics you're talking about? Is that what?
Yeah, I'm not with. Look, I'm not with that at all. And I when I say not at all, I don't support it at all, brethren. I'm born in America. My mother's from Jamaica. My father's from Costa Rica, and my father's grandparents are from Jamaica. They came to Panama to build a Panama Canal, and then that's why my grandmother's born there, and then she went to Costa Rica, not my father. There's a reason why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because it doesn't matter where we're born. It's the fact that we're all have the melanin and we have the ancestors in our DNA, and a lot of our people are just dropped off in different places. We were snatched from Nigeria, snatched from Cameroon, snatched from Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire, and and then in the beatings on those ships, and it just dropped us off in different places. But now we have these diaspora wars, and give thanks for Marcus Garvey, give thanks for His Imperial Majesty, give thanks for Malcolm X and people like even Kwame Nkrumah for encouraging our people to want to work together. But now we have diaspora wars. We have nothing personal against the FBA movement, but the FBA movement should be able to unite, but not at the expense of making fun and calling names to I people in the Caribbean and Africa. That's counterproductive.
Yes, and
straight
naive,
up,
and very naive if you think that any one group is going to be able to deal with what is coming. I mean, Marco Rubio's speech in Germany should crash all of those illusions that individual groups of Black people have, that they're going to go this alone. You know what I mean? This is a time when the Pan-African ideal is crucial. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at?
Okay, and in association with that last article, or that last image, if you zoom in on the top, it says Abyssinian king tells Garvey to come home. Now, this is one of my favorite articles here. About 11, 12 years ago, a brethren I know from Guyana, very good brethren here in New York, named Rashawn. He did some research and he shared this out. You know, shout out to Rashawn and also shout out to Ross Floyd Jarvis. That's my Guyanese brethren. Them brethren serious with the research. You know, my cousin, Dr. McPherson, may he rest in peace, passed away in summer of 2012. He would have loved to see this information of the brethren. I'm telling you, because he was a Rastaologist. Every time I ran into him in Harlem, always provided some information. This is the kind of information he would have wanted to see and for everybody to share out. And this is what it says here. I'm gonna read it, just in case if nobody can zoom in. It says, Garvey reelected. Routes, enemies, and plans to close convention this week. Liberty Hall, New York, August 31st. Oh, and just so you know, this is 1922. It says, quote, come back to the homeland, end quote, was the message received by the Universal Negro Improvement Association in the convention here from the King and Queen of Abyssinia at the recession Monday morning. The message was delivered to the convention by H. Topakin, who is Persian Consul General, who represents Abyssinia in this country. When the part of the message was reached in which the King and Queen invited members of the association to come, quote, back to homeland, end quote, the delegates yelled themselves hoarse. And that's in Harlem, 1922. Rastafari sent the Persian diplomat there, H. Topakin, to encourage Africans to return home.
Hold on 1 second. I have to do something for my elder brother Jack, Pa Jack, one of my elders who's an ancestor. Because if we were at the Nyabingi house right now, brother Jack would say, read Isaiah 43. You know what I mean? So I have to block Isaiah 43 in memory of the ancestry. This is my lineage coming up through Rastafari. Because when you show these articles and you highlight these history, which a lot of us didn't know, because again, there's this narrative that His Majesty was aloof from black people, that he wasn't, you know what I mean, that he jumped on the Pan-African bandwagon only in the 1960s.
Not true.
You know what I mean? So we're bringing this history to the global family so that ones can overstand. This is before Coronation, by the way. So there's no Rastafari movement in Jamaica at this time. His Majesty reaching out to Garvey directly to come home. Isaiah 43, I just want to put in this part for the elders who didn't get a chance to reach this hour of the Gideon and the teachings that I got. Isaiah 53 says, but now this is what the Almighty says. He who created you, Jacob, and he who formed you, Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed thee. I have redeemed you. I'll read it straight. I have summoned you by name. You are mine.
Mic check. Can't hear you, Quasi. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can
you
hear me? Can you
nod
hear
your
me?
head if you could hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I don't hear anything right now.
You hear me? Can you hear me now?
My microphone just went off.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing?
I don't hear nothing.
Go out and come back in. Go out and come back.
Do you want me to hang up and call back in? Hang up and call back in?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to read this. Let me read it from the top. This is a tribute to my elders. I come off of this kind of biblical teaching and prophecy. You know, we always mix in prophecy with the history and everything. And he would say, read Isaiah 43, you know what I mean? And he would have his pipe, you know, and his wood pipe and him a puff on him pipe, you know, and him load him pipe and him, you know, as an Asian. And one of the things why Brother Jack was important to I, and his queen is a part of our Lion Pride and Patreon, so big up Mama Carmen. But one of the reasons, Brother Jack, because I had a vision of this Asian before I ever met him. I had a vision of this Asian And the first time I walked in the Nyabingi house, I saw Pa Jack. So, and every time the Irish would get up high, he would always call I and I to read Isaiah 43. And it says, but now this is what the Lord says. He who created you, Jacob, he who formed you, Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name, you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep you over. When you walk through fire, you will not get burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord, your Almighty, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I gave Egypt for your ransom, Cush and Seba in your stead. Since you are precious and honored in my sight, and because I love you, I will give people in exchange for you, nations in exchange for your life. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bring your children from the east, and I will gather you from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth, everyone that is called by my name. So when His Majesty now is sending people to the UNIA and calling the UNIA, let me put up the evidence, because people think this Rastafari thing a joke thing. You can disagree with us, you know what I mean, but the facts, you know what I mean, we come with receipts. That's how the movement I move right now. We're bossy with it now because the history is there for all to see. Abyssinian king tells Garvey to come home. I shall say to the east, give up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So these are the things our elders would connect. And as a young university student, you know, all I could do is marvel, you know, and we didn't have these articles, but they would tell us this history about, you know, how His Majesty outreach. And I don't even know if they knew the details. But one of the beautiful things about this chart is the more that we live and the more we have technology, we're finding the pieces. Again, I always talk about the elders saying herb was the healing of the nation before having any knowledge about the endocannabinoid system. They didn't know about that the human body had an endocannabinoid system. But yet still, you know what I mean, there was, they knew the herb was the healing of the nation. I'm just looking at the time, King, and I'm realizing we're almost at 11 p.m. So
Yes, I.
we're going to have to have a part 2 of this where we can organize. But I think we still have 38 people on live. So that means the people love it. You know what I mean? For our channels, you know, most people watch after. But give thanks for everybody who's watching live with us. We're going to have more of these. This brethren love dig up documents and come with receipts. So we can bring him forward regularly. If you love this kind of content, support the content. You know what I mean? We love it.
But however, I'm not the only one. Let's let it be known. I'm not the only one. And if I'm being honored that way, I have to honor brethren who are doing great work, even greater work than I. There's a brethren named Ras Tafari in Africa. I forgot which. I think he's in Azania. You want to talk about documents, brethren?
Yes.
Man, this brethren putting some serious work in. Serious work. Ras Tafari, go check him on Facebook. I think he's also on Instagram. And also Ras Sean.
Both of them. We'll get both of them for the platform. Link me
I
with
hope
Ras
so.
Sean. Yeah, link me with Ras Sean. And I'll get a link for Ras Tafari. We'll get them on the platform so they can share. And we can go more into this history. You know what I mean? March, though, we're doing all Rastafari women all month. So we're in the process of booking our guests for March. Powerful Rastafari sistering. We do it every year, and then we'll culminate with the Empress Menin panel. We'll announce the lineup for the Empress Menin panel. That's Friday, April 3rd on Empress Menin Earthstrong. And again, we'll have all Rastafari women starting March 2nd. March 1st, Battle of Adwa, we're going to have IDOR website launch, special episode. It's going to be mightyful. So you see, we're working hard on programming for the family. Consider becoming part of our Patreon. We're having our town hall meeting February 22nd. We're going to be meeting. I'll announce who the special guest is in the next couple of days for the Lion Pride on Patreon. We have Town Hall, we reason, we build together. It's a very airy vibration. So consider becoming part of our community as we build here. Unprecedented Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media. We are doing something different, and no one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. As I said, we will be going live as soon as the American bombing of Iran commences. We'll go live whenever that happens. So you can come here. We'll be reasoning. We'll be checking the email. We'll be reasoning on the prophecy. This is part of the kinetic war, the hot war. We were early on this channel saying that World War III had already started. So we're not with the hype. I've been saying to the item, this is going to be a long war. The goal, one of the goals is the destruction of the El-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, the building of the third temple of Solomon, to usher in the Messiah. Doesn't matter if you believe in the Bible or not, people are invested and they're going to make it happen. And when they lick down that mosque, all the Muslim world is going to rise. It's going to be Gideon. So I and I are making our preparation, and we are letting the family know, prepare yourself. You know what I mean? If you have cash at home, get some cash. Make sure you're preparing yourself for periods without power. All these things, we got to know that we're moving into a time of instability, which is why I'm going to be doing a reaction episode to this Marco Rubio speech. America made a big speech. The Berlin Conference 2.0 just took place at the Munich Security Council. So if you haven't seen the Marco Rubio speech, go check it out. He declared that they're gonna rise forward colonialism. They blamed the anti-colonial movement on communists. Said they're going to bring forward colonialism, and Europe better stand with them or they'll go it alone. That's America's stand. So we're going to break it down here on the platform. And what we have to also do, family, is prepare. We can't watch what they're doing because we don't have no tanker. We're not going to pick up no gun and go fight Babylon. We have word, sound, and power, and we have preparation, but we're not naive. We're not going to sit down and Babylon crash around us and we haven't made any preparation or built an alternative. So we're going to build where we are, wherever we are. Some of us will be returning home to the continent. Some will stay where they are, and the Almighty, we asked us to bless everyone, no matter what choice they either make. We pray for that safety. But that being said, give us some final sound, Negus Kamaal. We're going to bring the eye forward probably next strong. We do a special episode. We'll get some time to organize the documents, and we'll do a special episode and pick up. Because there 300 documents, we probably went over 20. You know what I mean? So we have a whole lot more if go through. Give us some final words, Sound King.
I give thanks for the Rastafari faith and movement. I still to this day will never forget the day when I first seen an image of His Imperial Majesty. And it was in my final semester in college. It's a long story, but I'm just gonna say it quick though. But that day, it was Bob Marley's speech, the song War, that kind of led me to that, Man, I'm telling you, fire. And everything I knew about being Pan-Africa and studying Kemet and Moorish science and everything was just led by one African man. When I saw that song War was a speech, I was raised listening to that song, brethren, all throughout the 80s, all into the 90s, and when I was in college, going into the end of the 90s. And in the 2000s, I saw that song was actually a speech of the greatest leader of this whole earth. And it made me think, why doesn't anybody know of this person? And then I had to start reading and finding more. At that time, Yahoo was the big thing. Google wasn't out at that time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out everybody on the campus. Nobody knew this person. Now, there was a few Rastafari brethren on my campus, but, I'm thinking, how come you didn't tell me who this person is? I gotta laugh for you. Like, I used to hang around a lot of the Rosses, from Virgin Islands, and there was a few, one or two Ross that were from England. And
Yes.
these brethren showed me some, yo, man. Let me tell you, Fight. That's when I first heard of Midnight when I was in college, and everything just made sense.
Okay.
Everything just made sense when I saw that all this inspiration of Bob Marley and Midnight, and it's coming from one man, and his existence is referenced in the Bible. And at that time in my life, I was dealing with like a little bit of Seventh Day Adventist teachings. And there's a fire that buns towards the Vatican and
Yes.
importance of eating ital, and man, I'm telling you, brethren, I just look forward for the entire world to one day see and know of His Imperial Majesty. And it's not about people have to sit down and pray to the emperor. It's I think it's the importance of knowing the historical value, and then maybe some people will say, well, he's also mentioned in Psalms 87. He's also mentioned in Isaiah chapter 9, and he's mentioned here and there. I know some people will say it's Jesus Christ, but I know for a fact in my own heart and my own iris, Christ and His Imperial Majesty may not be the same physical, but I think it's an order, it's a cosmic energy, and the Emperor is the final representation of that. First it was Melech Zadok, or they say Melchizedek, then it came as Jesus Christus, and it came as His Imperial Majesty. And that's it. There's no more warnings, there's nothing else. Everything is fulfilled. Now it's time for humanity to find how do we return to our natural thinking selves? How do we fight war? How do we avoid war? How do we avoid poverty? So I give thanks for His Imperial Majesty and the entire Rastafari faith and movement. I give thanks for all Pan-African movements. But it's time for Pan-African movements to see the leader has already came, and he gave the right books, the right information on how we could solve and prevent I problems as humanity.
Collective security is the only solution.
Yes, indeed.
So we're here trying to implement collective security, trying to be obedient. If you love the vibes, become part of the community that we're building here. History in the making, the item can feel the energy. This is global. We also reason with our Rastafari brethren in Kenya. They'll be coming forward on the platform soon. We're going to have an update on the ganja case in Kenya. So stay tuned for that. We're going to return. Some more South African family will be here shortly with I&I. We don't stop working to bring all of the parts of our community, the Rastafari community of Sierra Leone. We're going to be reaching out to those ones. So, little by little, we'll be introducing all of the different branches together, and we're going to put this thing together. We have work to do. Again, we're going to go live as soon as the bombs start dropping in the Middle East, no matter what time. As soon as I find out, we're anticipating that's going to be within the next 2 strong. Unprecedented amount of military hardware is on the move right now. I've been telling people about the Straits of Hormuz. Once that closed, the price of gas is going to skyrocket. You might have to ride your bicycle, because it's going to be $200 a gallon for gas. So it's going to impact all the different families. Whether you're going to have money, and if not, you're going to have collective security. So we're preparing our audience, our family. We're watching. You can go forward in the Lion log and see we've been talking about these things for ages. Big up to the Lion Pride, all of the family them who are our monthly subscribers. We've lost a few. We have a lot of brethren and sisters right now being laid off from their jobs. So if you have steady income, consider supporting as a monthly subscriber. If you're just hustling and you want to do a super chat like Ras Roots or the Ras Legend, just give $1 where you can here and there on the broadcast. We appreciate love that as well. Make sure you hit the like button, for the algorithm so that the platform shares it out. Hit the notification tab so you get updates. Tomorrow we will be going live at 8 p.m. Artists United for the Shashamane School. We're going to have Empress Idama returning with Brother Carl, Sister Keisha Martin, who's an artist who has given her time to raise funds. The Rastafari, not just Rastafari people, we link with other people of goodwill, and possibly a surprise guest. So we're not going to say who that surprise guest may be, but tune in tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Again, we're raising awareness on the works that are happening. This is not the Talk Shop channel. This name Harlem Gideon working channel. You know what I mean? So stay tuned. Big up yourself, Negus Kamaal Atu. This was a great episode. We gone 3 hours, and we're not gonna stop. Also, this Sunday, the town hall meeting, I'll be announcing who the special guest is shortly for our Lion Pride on Patreon family, so stay tuned for that. If you want to join the town hall meeting, it's a private Zoom meeting for our monthly subscribers. We build, we help, we answer questions, we help people build their platforms as well, so that they can also do what we're doing. Because I do believe content creation is the future of every product and service. Everybody's going to need to have their own ecosystem. So we offer that consultation. So definitely come and check us out, and love to everyone who came and watched this live. This one was a great one. You know what I mean? This one was a great one. Final sound, my brother.
Again, give thanks for the opportunity, the Jazz Much Quasi. Next strong, we'll make sure that it's more organized, that you get the documents and images more correct. And give thanks to the teachings and the existence and the authority of His Imperial Majesty Kidamawi Ali Selassie, Negus Nagast za Ethiopia, Moa Anbesa, za Im Nagada Yehuda, Sayun Xiabier, Yaberhan Alam, alongside with Her Imperial Majesty Atega Menen Asifa, the mother of Ainai Nation. Give thanks for Ainai elders, give thanks for our generation, and give thanks for the next generation coming to take over and also assist with what we have carried on, and give thanks for food, clothing, and shelter. In the name of His Imperial Majesty, Kidamawi Ali Selassie, Ja Ras Tafari. Aye.
There you have it. History, Black History Month. We've gone into the history of the Emperor. Why? Because the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
Blessed love, this is Ras representing for the Lion Voice. Seeing? Yeah, man. Keep it locked right there, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion Voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right there, sir. Seeing? Ras said that. Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I do. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Manel, and a young scientist. Your role universally unfold. Be told, Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Ras out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Ras said that, blazing fire, lion boy.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the light. Lion voice.